If Love and Gogi is wrong, I don't want to be right.
What would Socrates say to that?
It tickles my fancy.
Okay.
Okay.
Goosies.
I don't have hair.
Oof.
You got Marcos.
That's not. No, that's not.
Wait.
Yeah,
That's true. You do got me. Get over here, Marcus. Let me look at you.
I don't want it.
Tobin and Leroy, ready to deploy. Had to hit it with a little journalism, but that was a decoy. Better have about me, boy. Okay, Leroy and Tobin, hold to the show, man. Stairs on the stars with the show, and till then his half moon open. Sometimes go taste like a snowman. No proof, I'm a lie about a motor. No proof, like I always wanted him. I never hated him. I never traded him. And if I did, I never ever traded him. You never know what is a star? Like another city, the driver's side fly. Just like a large, so many more. 10 in the more, never a bar. 8, 10 in the more, 2 to the P. Nothing to you, but it's something to me. Handsome as ever, cute as can be. You can watch it on YouTube with view for free. Ay, this one time for the Twitch. This one time for the text. This one time for the phone line. Whole time, wonder what they gonna do next.
You know, I just wish you guys would stop the quibbling.
I am so excited about this joint practice.
Ah.
I read
Please
every
refrain at work.
so much to take away. The good, the bad, Leroy joint practice. One of those things is it just glad to hit somebody else.
Well, there's a few like ways of looking at it. When I was playing and we would have joint practices, we would have 2 joint practices. We would have one against a team we played on the road and one against a team that came to us. Usually it was with the Giants because Bill had a relationship with the Giants. So we would either go to them or they would come to us. We did that for years. But here's the thing where I've changed a little bit, because when I played, I used to love joint practices because you ain't practice as much, right? Because you get like 3 or 4 plays and then they put the second units in or they put the young guys in. Whereas when you practice against yourselves, they want the starters taking most of the reps, getting ready for the season. Now, what it's done now is a lot of these teams have scheduled these joint practices so they can control the environment of competition. So, for example, you don't have to worry about your quarterback getting hurt. You don't have to worry about usually guys getting hit low because you can't hit low, you can't tackle, you can't do all that stuff. But you still have the intensity of competing against somebody on the other side of the ball. This has taken the place of preseason gameplay.
Right.
And so that's where it's kind of changed a little bit. And so now you might have 2 joint practices and 3 preseason games where they're viewing those joint practices as controlled, scrimmages. And you don't really need to play your starters in these preseason games. You can look at your talent. You can look at your young guys. You can evaluate the second and third quarterbacks. So it's changed a little, even though teams have always done it.
So we're on the Tobin and Leroy show. Tobin not here today. I am Dan Day filling in. We've got Leroy Hoard.
Dan Day, you're the only person in Florida that knows what this is.
I know. I was going to say St. Aug Great right there. Purple Knight representing right there.
That's the address.
7th Ward.
Yep, that's the address. 2600 AP2 Road.
Oh, man.
That's what the 2600 is for.
One of the great high schools in all of the United States, St. Augustine.
We have more musicians than Pro Bowlers.
Right? A lot of everything.
Man.
Hey, all boys.
Marcos,
schools,
my high school is the same size as that building.
The Citadel?
Yes.
It's that big?
Yikes.
Right. Listen, it is 1 square block. It has 23 classrooms. And from 8th grade to 12th grade, there is 600 kids.
It's that big?
Yeah.
Whew.
My graduating class, I was taken aback by graduation classes having 900 or 1,000 kids.
No,
here in South Florida.
You don't have that in Louisiana.
My graduation class was 112.
Yeah. Mine was 170 maybe.
Yeah.
Well, see, in Louisiana, they built neighborhood schools because they wanted to keep certain people separate from each other.
Right. Yeah.
St. Aug is a powerhouse. If you don't know St. Augustine, Purple Knights, you have not been living, because they send people not just to professional sports, to the professional Hall of Fame of a lot of things. Music, culture, politics, you name it. St. Aug sends them all. They won't back down either.
Is that where Carl Weathers went?
Yeah. No, he actually did. But the crazy thing about it is, think about this. Our school is only 600 people big. Our band has 120 members in it.
That is another thing people don't understand. When you tell someone, if you're from the deep South, that you were in the band, like you go up north, they're like, were you a band nerd? Like, no, nerds.
No.
Nerds aren't in the band. That's where the cool kids are. Band is a big deal in the South. Giving them parades. Were you in the band? What did you play?
Saxophone.
Oh, I played trumpet.
Well, I played saxophone because my grandfather was in a band with Marcellus's father, with Ellis.
Yeah.
So he would take all the grandkids, and we'd all have our own mouthpiece. Huh?
Of course, Leonard Fournette went there.
Tyrann Mathieu?
Tyrann
Mathieu, the Honey Badger, went there. Jeez. Avery Johnson.
I'm on their Twitter now. I see them honoring everybody here.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Leroy Hoard, you heard of him?
Yep. He
was
there.
Pretty good.
He was there. What instrument did you play, Marcos?
I used to tell people when I didn't want to hang out with them that I had piano lessons.
Well, you do make beats and stuff like that.
That's good enough, right?
Yeah.
That's making it right there.
Eventually they caught on, realized that
it was an interesting environment to be at that school in New Orleans. All black, all boy Catholic school.
Uniforms?
Just uniform. We had to wear button up shirt and a tie every day to school.
I was gonna say, you guys were always very nicely dressed.
Yeah.
And we always made fun of nicely dressed schools, but for some reason we didn't make too much fun of St. Aug when they came by.
Nah, because we were still hood.
Oh yeah. Y'all out of here.
Hey, it was still hood, but we ain't had no fights in school.
Really?
No.
See, I remember one time I was at the state basketball championship, the top 28, and St. Aug ended up winning the national championship in basketball that year. And concession stand people were scared, man. That was a rough St. Aug crowd over there. Remember they beat Catholic High of Baton Rouge in the semis. I can't remember who they beat in the finals, but yeah. Ooh.
Hey, Margot's listen, Louisiana living ain't for the faint of heart. I'm gonna just put it at that. Put it this way. People don't have to be discreet with their racism. So just imagine, and you have, your people in your school telling you that ain't no excuse to fail. So you have to just eat it and move on. And I did what every kid wanted to do, get the hell out of Louisiana.
Yes, sir. That's the goal.
But yeah, I would say that experience for me, there ain't nobody on this earth could do anything to me that I don't know how to deal with it, right? Because I've been doing it my whole life. And you have kids now, they're so accustomed to everything working out perfectly that when things go just a little bit off script, they panic. Everybody panic. And I'm like, man, that's Tuesday. Let's go. That's Tuesday. Let's go. So,
all right, I tell you, JFig said in the band she played the keys and the bells. I don't know. The guy that
really? So wait, you were just the person going, then so everybody playing dun, 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 ding.
Yeah, I take it back. Not to knock you, Figgy. The person that played the little ding ding triangle, that person sometimes, okay, Much love though, much love.
See, I would have lied and said I was part of the percussion section.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta say.
Yeah.
she's waiting in. Oh, she said she didn't play the triangle. She played the bells. I don't know.
Yeah, get it right, dude.
Oh, so you were the one that they put like, the little wine glasses in the back filled with different levels of water during Christmas. Wait, everybody do it during Christmas, right? That's when you mostly have it, where they have the water and all different levels, and somebody's either playing the tops of them or banging on them.
See, I think Figgy played the pipes, though. That was probably the thing. And when I say the pipes,
Whoa,
once again, I started the show saying I love joint practice, and now Figgy's playing the pipes. But the pipes, you hear that new Harry Styles song? Well, not new, as it was.
Oh, like not even at first I thought you were talking about like the organ. Sometimes there's pipes.
Oh,
no, we don't know it. He says y'all clearly don't know what bells are. I really don't. Bells.
Hey,
I know what a bell is.
I've rung my bell a couple of times.
Man,
let's see. I don't know. It looks just as soft as I thought. That's what
we're talking about. Don't talk, don't argue. That was the other thing in New Orleans. There's a whole lot of not talk, a whole lot of I don't talk, I don't argue. Speaking of getting your bell rung, got in trouble here one time because someone was messing with me, and there wasn't a lot of talk and argue. And the person I was with got mad, said, "Why did you just bust into him all of a sudden?" I said, "I don't talk, I don't argue. I don't need to tell you what I'm going to do to you. I just do it."
Dude, I tell people that all the time, and that's from where I grew up. Say, look, are we chit-chatting or we fighting?
No, yeah, we don't
chit-chat. This is the only thing you have to worry about me, right? And this is the worst kind of person to fight. I ain't scared to get my ass beat.
Nope.
You coming with me.
That's why I give my guy Jose Ramirez credit. He took a couple licks the other day, but he got Tim.
My goodness. Hey, there is nothing more embarrassing than taking somebody and putting your dukes up in front of them, getting knocked out, and then you get the biggest suspension.
Yeah.
Insult to injury. And
but
listen,
that's the thing,
folks. This is a lesson for everybody. When you get knocked out, don't get up talking trash, because you don't know where you are. You don't have your stuff together. You're wobbling, you're shaking, and you're making a fool of yourself.
And then when you
kind of got some football, hey Dan, he used to tell us in football, when you get dinged up, stay down. Don't stand up. We had a guy one game. He said, I'm good. He got up and ran, and he was on the wrong sideline. I'm like, you good. Look around. Nobody got the same uniform as you, dummy.
Oh, man. But yeah, the second you're in a fight with someone that knows how to take a hit and doesn't get scared, that's when you start.
That's more terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You hit a guy or you, whatever, if you're a girl and you're fighting another girl, but you hit somebody good and they look back at you like, oh, it's time to go. Then you're like, uh-oh.
Crazy time.
I start fighting a little more defensive after that. Like, okay, here we go. Oh. But yeah, man. But I'll give Jose Ramirez credit. He took a good hit. Sometimes you got to take a good hit to give a good hit, and he got a good hit in.
Oh my goodness. You also can't fight if you got a weak chin. Goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he knew he had a weak chin till he got hit in
it. And I mean, we talked about this, Marcos and I, yesterday. Jose Ramirez did get a little lucky. It was a blind hit, but nonetheless,
it don't matter.
It
don't matter. It don't. We ain't go. All we saw was that big tree fall. Which one of y'all hit me?
Then when he cleared up or somewhat cleaned himself up, tried to get back out there like he was mad. Like, what are you going to do now? You already got knocked out. No, rematch. Get out of here.
Rematch.
Let's get to some headlines. These headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store?
Palmetto Ford, we know trucks.
Conversations continue as the ACC discusses accepting Cal and Stanford into the conference.
The who? Who?
Cal and Stanford into the ACC.
The ACC, Cal and Stanford are going to come all the way.
There's talks.
That's stupid talks. That's look. The one of the reasons why all these leagues are present is because of the location of the schools. If you have one school or two schools that have to travel so much more than the other schools, now you're putting them at a disadvantage anyway. And you're going to come all the way over cross country to join the ACC?
My thing is this, for football, whatever, you can make it happen. But when you got to start doing volleyball and swimming,
baseball,
like,
right.
Cool, that's a big expense and a lot of time.
You know what I think they should have did? And this is what the Big 12 and the Pac-10 should have joined. So Texas, you should have had Texas A&M, Oklahoma, USC, UCLA, Oregon. All those should have been together. Then you go Big 10, right? And maybe throw in a couple of the East Coast schools. Maybe you go as far as like Virginia Tech. And then down south, you go SEC, and then that's Miami. I don't know, North Carolina. You do that. And you have 3 super conferences.
Don't you worry.
It's coming. I've said this for years.
You don't have to foresee too far in the future what the SEC is going to look like.
Guess who's gonna be left out?
Who's going to get stuck out in the ACC?
No, who's going to get stuck out in general is Notre Dame.
Georgia Tech. Okay, Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, because okay, who's going to do television contracts for one school now? When you have an opportunity to take those monies and pay for these super conferences. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's getting to that point because it could be a money thing, but the other thing is as you start losing the USCs and start losing the Washingtons, and you start losing all these schools, then your conference loses a little bit of its luster. Now, me personally, I think the thing that I miss and I will miss with all these teams joining the Big Ten and the ACC and this is that Rose Bowl. I mean,
Rose Bowl's dead.
But it's going to be part of the playoffs and what have you, and the playoff is going to expand, so they're going to be. But I remember going there twice one year because we played UCLA, and playing in that place. And keep in mind, I played in a big stadium, but it's nothing like playing in the Rose Bowl.
No, I've been to a lot of stadiums too, and
it's phenomenal, and it's actually. What's cool about it is built almost identical to the Big House, in that people don't realize that you walk into the Rose Bowl, you go down. Yeah. It's the same thing with Michigan Stadium.
It's right next to the hills and the mountains and everything.
So it's a really, really cool thing. I enjoyed seeing it in the playoffs and seeing other schools getting an opportunity to experience that. But then when I realized that the Big Ten and the Pac-12 or 10 or whatever they were, they kind of lost that, Pac-12 versus Big Ten type thing when they started using the playoff. It was a little bit disappointing, but still cool. To play in that. That's one of the places that, if you ever had an opportunity to play, it would be there.
Man, love the Rose Bowl. Real quick, do want to say a late Jorge Soler home run helped end the Marlins 5-game losing streak last night as they defeated the Reds 3-2. The 2 they play today at 12:35.
I got to tell you, not for nothing, anytime a relief pitcher goes in, I'm a little nervous.
For the Marlins?
Oh,
not a little nervous. I'm a whole lot of nervous.
Goodness. Oh my goodness.
Although Tanner Scott's been good.
Yeah.
I actually punked him the other day. I was at 26 Degree Brewing where I'm at on Wednesday nights, and I was like, they're like, oh, who's this guy Tanner Scott? I go, he sucks. He's been great ever since then for like 2 weeks now. He's been nonstop.
We call that the reverse jinx.
Reverse jinx?
Yeah, the reverse mush.
All right. Well, AJ Puck sucks. Who else sucks? David Robertson sucks.
Kurt, throw him in there.
Nardi sucks. The whole Marlins suck. Come on.
Because the thing that's frustrating is they don't give up like 3 singles and somebody scores. They always give up a home run.
Yep. They make one mistake.
Yeah. That Tanner Scott's ball, his ball moves so much, it's hard to get like solid contact on it.
Yeah.
So yep. Did you well, we probably should go to break, but did you hear what old boy on Fox did, huh? On the herd. No? All right.
We'll talk about it real quick. Let's take a step into the dace, Bob, and then we'll go to break. Yes. A Colorado driving instructor took over the car because the student was driving a little erratic, and then the instructor proceeded to drive through the car driving school's front office building.
The student should have looked over and said, you failed.
Damage is done.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, we're going to talk next about what happened yesterday. Was that on the herd?
On the herd.
On the herd. And could joint practices become the new NFL preseason? That and more next on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM.
WQAM.
I remember when I lost my mind.
It is the Tobin and Leroy show here on 560 WQAM. Tobin is off doing whatever Tobin does on a day like today. I am Dan Day filling in with, from the 9th Ward, Leroy Hoard, St. Augustine, represent. That's actually in the 7th Ward, but he's a 9th Ward weebie. We got Marcos representing Miramar.
Miramar High School, baby.
You and Johnny Depp
just
going
as
big.
tough, just as tough.
JFig from K-Town, the Hood. Her and Alex
Nah.
Rodriguez making it happen.
The Hood.
Bells,
Let me tell you, Kendall is not the Hood.
Why would you say that? Why did he just get caught up in the air when he said that, Alex Rodriguez?
To be honest, I say Kendall's not even Miami. I say it's its own little bubble. Anyone from Kendall that I know personally doesn't really leave Kendall that much. Kendall is its own bubble.
That is true. Although I will say, you can get JFig out of K-Town if you offer a couple of drinks. Because I've said, Figgy, let's go out and a group of us have some drinks. Whoop.
And the right concert, too.
Or the right concert. A concert to get her out of Florida.
We got Pierce the Veil coming this weekend, so she's probably going to be here on Sunday. I might see her. I might pull her in on a sports day. That'd be pretty cool, huh?
Oh, nice. It's going to be here?
Yeah, it's going to be at the Performance Space.
Wow.
But that's neither here nor there. Right now, though, Leroy, you said there was some interesting happenings on the Herd. What happened?
I always have a problem with guys that are, out there with their hot takes and lists and stuff like that. And then they do something that Colin Cowherd did was he had a list of maybe 15 or 20 quarterbacks that can't win a Super Bowl. Amongst that list was Dwayne Haskins.
Whoa. Of course
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out.
What type of sick joke is that?
I'm trying to figure out.
-1.
At what point does the production, does the person who's supposed to be, who feels he's an expert on football, come across that list and say, oh, wait, right? Like, how far does it go where nobody doesn't realize that Dwayne Haskins probably shouldn't be on that list?
Right. As a production person, you would say, let me see your list real quick, go through it. Maybe ask a couple questions like, what type of video do you want with this? What type of audio do you want with this? Why did you pick this guy? Why did you do this? Wait, Dwayne Haskins.
Right. No longer with us.
And this isn't a rinky-dink program either.
No, it's not.
How does that get through
anything? I think so many of those guys want the creative freedom to do what they want. And a lot of times some of them are so big, you don't really check them. Right? It is, I mean,
right.
They don't really even check Skip Bayless. But what happens is when,
how old was that list?
It's from yesterday.
I can't understand why you would put that on there.
Me either. Like, and
what are you trying to do?
And not only that, read the list on air. To where you read the list and still didn't realize that it shouldn't have been on the list. So,
okay,
how much football do you know?
Right.
If you read that list and not realize, oh, we made a mistake here. My apologies.
Also, when you put people on a list of quarterbacks that can't win a Super Bowl, R.I.P. Dwayne Haskins, he was never really a big-time starter in the league. You need to put people that people at least consider
that are going to play.
That's like me saying, I'm trying to think, Reed Sinnett will never win a Super Bowl as a starting quarterback. Like, wow, Dan, way to go.
Right. I mean, exactly.
I'm sorry, Reed Sinnett. I'm not trying to take shots at you, but I'm just saying.
I figure like it would be amongst the starters.
Amongst starters that some people might consider have a chance to win a Super Bowl.
Correct.
Goodness.
Correct. So
has he said anything? Like,
I don't know.
He apologized?
I don't know. I don't know if he apologized or not.
How about you do some research too, if you're Colin Cowherd or whoever's putting this list together, and see if people are living, much less starting?
Oh, he said it was silly and wrong, but it had every first-round quarterback drafted since 2013. Reason why it also had retired quarterbacks. Well, which if they're retired, also can't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you probably don't have to put them on the list.
Once again, how about you not waste my time?
What a stupid ass list.
What a dumb list.
Right.
That's why I put retired quarterbacks in there. We know they can't win a Super Bowl, Colin. We don't need you to tell us that.
Right.
That's bad taste. That's wasteful.
So Dan, so you gave him you made it sound like you had boots on the ground yesterday with Dolphins camp. What's happening?
It's basically what you'd expect from Dolphins camp. You have some really good stuff. Tua, there were some points where he was pinpoint accurate. Then other times he was throwing it into the ground and getting intercepted. Mike White, what do you expect him to do? A couple of great passes and then
right.
Well, the other team.
I would say this to people. We get too caught up in interceptions in practice.
Right.
And here's why. Here's where quarterbacks learn their limitations. Here's where quarterbacks learn what throws they can and can't make with certain people. And you have to kind of go through that. If Tua completed every pass in camp, then I would have questions that he's not trying to push the envelope. So usually quarterbacks that complete 90% of their passes in camp, they're throwing check downs and 5-yard routes. You got to take some chances to know what your limitations are. So when I hear, oh, so-and-so threw 3 picks today. All right. Like, would you rather them do it on Sunday? Throw 20 in practice. Like, figure out what you can and can't do and live with it. Know who you are. That's what camp is for a quarterback. Know who you are, know what you can or can't do, and be the best at that.
Is this one thing that you can take away from camp and through just practice yesterday? For the most part, the defense has been pretty dominant. Of course, they make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody gets hurt here and there. But for the most part, they've been steadily dominant and winning most of the practices. Is that a positive sign that you can take away from camp?
Yes and no. Defense is usually always winning camp.
Okay.
Here's why. You're not game planning. So for example, if Jalen Phillips, if I'm playing you in week 6, and I see you have 8 sacks. Now I got a game plan for you, right? So Chubb on the other side might beat you, or Christian Wilkins up the middle, but you game planning for that dominant sacker in Jalen Phillips. You see what I'm saying? And so when you have camp and practicing camp, especially against another team, it's basic defense. So you're not sliding protection to Jalen Phillips. You got your right tackle blocking him one-on-one all day. And so that's why certain guys are just dominating the one guy, because when you get to game situations, they're going to game plan for these things. The plays that they design, the motions, all the things are going to be designed to slow that dominant pass rusher up. Well, in practice, especially with other teams, you're not showing nothing. So all your blocking is standard blocking. All your defenses are standard defenses. But up front, it's mostly one-on-one pass rush. And so that's why a lot of team drills are kind of skewed towards the defense, because if you have those 1 or 2 dominant pass rushers, the offensive line is not getting any help. Whereas if you have a game plan, you see where the weak spot is, and you're going to do something in your game plan to kind of help with the protection going that way. So usually the defense is pretty, the drills and so for example, you have a drill 9-on-7, right? So the whole defense knows all you're doing is running the football. That's all you're doing. So they ain't worried about a pass. They just digging their feet in and bull rushing and trying to, mess up the play. What if you happen to have play action in that? Oh, now we got to think. So now my read of that run might not be as aggressive as it is in 9-on-7. There's a lot of things that kind of play out for the defense simply because, one, no game plan, two, the drill. Like, the craziest thing is we have a drill called, okay, this is pass drill. 11-on-11 pass drill. Well, guess what? No runs. So you only pass it. So all they doing is pass rushing.
Okay.
And you do this all day. You break down the situations, especially when you go against, other teams. You're not showing anything crazy. They're playing standard defense. They might be playing like a cover 2 shell. So you can't, just very vanilla defenses. It makes it a little bit more difficult for an offense when you can't manipulate the defense to do what you want to do because you're not doing that. So game plans matter. What these practices are mostly for is to see how your guys compete against other people. For example, if that right tackle would normally need help, let's see how that right tackle fights like hell against a defender that he knows is a better pass rusher than he is blocker. You learn stuff from that. So he may not win, but you come away feeling better about that guy because he fought like hell. That's what
I get into.
That's what these camps are about.
And I want to get into that. So day 2 of joint practice with the Falcons will continue today. I want to talk about these joint practices and how they're going to be affecting the preseason probably going forward. And also, what more do you learn from everything that happens in practice, in preseason, and all the things surrounding that next here on the Tobin and Leroy Show, 560 WQAM. Practice. That's right. We're talking practice. Day 2, Dolphins, Falcons, getting you ready for Friday, 7 o'clock, Hard Rock Stadium, the only preseason game at Hard Rock Stadium this year. Dolphins are actually going to be away for a while. I don't know if you saw
this Friday, huh?
that is this coming Friday.
Man.
So now only 3 preseason games. Eventually, very soon, it's going to be down to 2 preseason games. Joint practices, like we said, Leroy, they've kind of morphed. They're a little more important than they used to be.
Yeah.
It seems like, could there be a day where we just don't have preseason football at all and we just have these joint practices? Is that what some of the teams probably be going for and hoping for?
Here's the problem. Right now, you have 21 games, for lack of a better word. 3 preseason, 20. 3 preseason and 17 regular season. So that means each year you get 1 or 2 home games and an additional home game in the regular season. You're going to be hard pressed to get people to just do joint practices and give up that revenue. So they'll find a creative way to do it. Because this really has, I think you need to experience games as far as your preparation for the game, what you need to do before the game, how you're going to get yourself ready as far as game plan. I do think that all teams need to go through that. And the only way to do it is to play a preseason game. You know, what you're going to do, what time you go out to warm up. Like, these things are to the minute, right? To the minute as far as TV is concerned, everything. And I think if you don't have preseason games and you don't experience that, even with like new coaches and stuff like that, if you don't have just a dry run of those things, then when the season starts, the season's going to kind of start off sloppy. And that's not kind of what you want when you don't want your 2 first games to be, well, this is the preseason. So you got to kind of have some, you got to have a couple of preseason games just for the schematics of it.
So you're saying there is value in having at least 2 preseason games?
Yeah. Look, a game plan for how you're going to do things at home, what hotel you're going to stay in, what time everybody has to be to the stadium, what time you got to go to get taped. If you're a young guy, you got to go extra early because the vet will kick you off the tape table. All these things you got to go through. As far as on the road, what time the first bus leaves, what time the second bus leaves, what time everybody leaves, okay, pre-game meal, meeting the night before the game. All these things you have to like have a dry run of just so you can get a feel of playing on the road, getting yourself ready for the road, the meetings before the game. All these things are very structured. And unless you have a dry run to that where you have to understand what that structure is, then you're never going to know. Like, just from a travel perspective, when I was in Cleveland and when I was in Carolina, we walked onto our plane. We had our own hangar. We parked our car in our own parking lot, and we walked up onto the plane, and then they backed the plane out, and we took off. Okay? When I got to Minnesota, we took off from the same gate every week for every away game. Now, you got to know, how soon do I need to get to the airport to park? How I got to get through security? Because you're going through the airport. So there's a lot of different teams that have a lot of different schematics of how they get things done. You gotta have these dry runs, of okay, let me make sure I get to the airport on time. How long is it going to take me to get to the airport from my house? When do I need to leave? All these things you need to go through. Otherwise, if you just go into the regular season, somebody gonna miss a plane because they waited too late. It just
bring it up. I never thought about that. I always thought it was the owners just trying to make a little more money, and also players that are trying to make the team their chance to impress, which I was saying, no, well, now that you have the XFL and the USFL, can't that be your resume tape? But
No.
now you're showing me that there's a dress rehearsal behind the scenes, maybe that needs to go on more than just.
Hey, what are you talking about, Dan? You telling me like these guys want to see you play against other pros?
These are pros.
No. Okay.
I'm
Listen,
not gonna watch it.
there's only a couple of situations that where a guy from arena football ended up being the Super Bowl MVP. They made a movie about it.
Kurt Warner.
That's why. Kurt Warner. All
So
right?
you're saying XFL and USFL isn't going to replace preseason football and stuff like that? And I was
No.
thinking maybe, you can
No.
show some tape that you have some
No.
potential.
What do you
do
think?
joint practices.
What do you hold on? Think about this.
I mean, it is
Chris
guys that
Greer.
come
Chris Greer gets paid a lot of money to find talent for this team, either through the draft, free agency, trades, or whatever. He's constantly looking at players. You got scouts constantly looking at players, right? You think he want players sending him a mixtape? right. This ain't me. Like he said, hey, you want to be in the league? Send Chris Greer your mixtape. He'll sign you. Like, no, he already know. They already know what school you went to. They already know what your draft status was. They already know why you did or didn't make it, right? They know all these things already. So to say, man, it's too many people's job to find talent. If there's talent out there, and you ever hear the story? I don't know why this guy's not playing NFL football. No. Because they're trying to find talent everywhere. So, no, it's not that. But I do believe, like, just the structure of how your season's going to go and the things that you need to do to get ready for each game, whether on the road or away, I think at worst, you need to have 2 preseason games.
Home and away.
Home and away, right? You have to, because guys need to figure out, keep in mind, when you were in college, everybody took the bus at the same time to the same place or whatever. They came and got you. Hey, get on the bus, right? But when you get to the NFL, it's on you. So you got to know when all these things are happening. I knew running backs were on the field, just running backs, to do a little warm-up, 11:25. Or, 11:25. Then we go in, put the rest of our stuff on, right? Then we come back on the field. Like, you just know, it's all things you have to review. You even, like, they even go on the board for practice. Like, when a new coach comes in, this is what we're going to do for warm-up. You're going to line up here, they're here. They draw that on the board. So guys aren't just running on the field. You know what to do when you go on the field. Same thing applies for games.
So we should be getting used to 2 preseason games for a while.
I would say at the least, it'll be 2 preseason games. So if they add an 18th game, I don't believe, even with these scrimmages, that you could go into a season without having a dry run of a road game or a home game, to just know what you have to do, how you have to travel. And that's for, look, team, organization, everybody, the training staff. What do I need to pack for this guy who's got a banged up this or banged up that? The equipment guy. What shoes do I need to pack? Are we on grass? Are we on artificial turf? Are we on sport turf? What shoes do I need to pack? Dude, you're talking about a big plane full of equipment, personnel, players, coaches, staff, all kinds of stuff that has to be coordinated, that you think you're just going to be able to do all that without having a dry run?
Yeah, but don't they theoretically do that with these scrimmages?
No. Yes and no. So if I go, so we used to go to Wisconsin. We used to practice against the Saints and Chicago. They both practice somewhere in like Chicago, and somewhere in Wisconsin.
Lacrosse.
So when you go there, you get there, you stay in the dorm,
That's true. You're in La
Right?
Crosse, Wisconsin.
You have meetings or whatever to watch the film of the previous practice, and then you have 2 practices. But you're going to the facility, you're right there, and you just walk over to the facility. That's not getting ready for a game.
That's
You
true.
see what I'm saying? So
Not game ready.
yeah,
Practice
it's so you do have, and that's why, you have to see some teams, they always play their starters the first series or 2. They want you to know how to get into the flow of a game. Right? Everybody doesn't need it. It depends on what the coach thinks, how he feels his team is going. And that's why a lot of times they play this by ear. Would Tua play this Friday? I would say he probably played the first series because everybody, I think everybody wants to feel comfortable with Tua under center again. You see what I mean? Tua needs to feel comfortable. You want his first action to be the first week of the season after how last season ended? No. He just need to get his feet wet and then get a couple of plays in, a couple of throws, a couple of handoffs, get him out of there.
All right. You got me sold. Preseason is important. We're going to come back, get you some headlines, and get you caught up with everything else that's going on in the South Florida sports world on 560 WQAM.
Breaking news from AM 560 Sports WQAM is presented by BetQL. Smarter bets.
It's time for our Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua. It's our Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua. Tonga Vailoa. Not
Tua Tagovailoa.
A for effort. Dolphins quarterback.
Tua.
It's our Tua. It's our Tua.
Tua.
Tua, Tua, Tua. Tua, Tua, Tua.
Can go to hell.
Tua Tagovailoa. Dolphins quarterback.
Daddy loves you guys.
Our Tua with Tobin and Leroy.
Check the history of food.
Hour 2 of the program. Back at practice today against the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know about you, Leroy, but they can't beat the Falcons, you know what, bad enough on Friday. And it's not just because I love the Dolphins. It's also because I really hate the Falcons. And even losing in preseason brings me great joy.
Marcos, this is a thing with me and Dan.
If
you are from New Orleans, you hate Atlanta.
Heated rivals.
Yep.
Now, okay, I got a question about this rivalry here. A lot of people from Miami have a rivalry with New York, but part of that is because a lot of them come down here and never go back, and they constantly talk about.
But then they talk about how much they love New York.
Exactly.
Right.
Is there a lot of transit, back and forth, or
there was a mass exodus to Atlanta and to Georgia before the Olympics because there was work there. But if this goes way back before that, because I think the Louisiana governor or the Atlanta governor took the other one's wife years ago.
Oh,
so it goes back that far, and that's where it all started.
Also, you got Atlanta. They're trying to be New Orleans all the time. They want to be the belle of the South. They're kind of like a generic version of New Orleans, but they don't do as good of a job of it. And then they got a crappy football team. They try to name their stadium after the same stadium. Okay, by the way,
that's right.
Today in 1975, the first NFL game in the Superdome. Leroy, did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Did you ever play in the Superdome?
Once, my rookie year.
Oh, I'm talking about in high school because that's where the state championships.
No, that's where the state champion. I never played for a state championship.
You guys 5A?
Yeah, we were the highest. It's pretty difficult here.
What do we have?
It's pretty difficult when your center weighs 170 pounds.
Yeah, that's tough, man.
That's one of the pitfalls I have in the 600 people in your school.
Yeah, that is true. What do they have here in Florida? Do they have like 7A and stuff like that?
I definitely have seen. I know Miramar was a 6A. Is there an 8A?
Okay. There's 5As in. Well, I mean, like in Louisiana, you have C, which is like schools of like 5 people. B, which is schools of like
there
10
is
people.
8A actually. Yeah.
8A.
Yeah, this is like Popka, Seminole, and stuff like that.
8A graduating class of 8,000.
Anyone down here though? I don't know if I see like a lot of.
Here's the problem: is that you have to understand that a lot of schools in
Columbus,
a lot of schools in Louisiana are smaller.
Right, very much.
So you're never gonna my daughter goes to Western. I have never seen, and my son went to Plantation. I've never seen that many kids in a school ever in my life.
Yeah, growing up, you knew everybody in high school, especially in class. I had friends when I went to Wisconsin. They're like, "Oh, I went to school." Like you meet random people in the doors, like, "Oh, you went to that high school? I went to that high school. We graduated together." Oh, I'm like, "How do you not know people in your graduating class?" They're like, "There's like 750 people." I was like,
"Yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay."
So it's a little bit different, but yeah. So we both root for anytime Atlanta plays to lose. I think one of the most exciting things was when Tom Brady came back when they were winning 28-3. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. All the wrong reasons, but it was still beautiful.
Oh, I actually heard Solana, I believe, was talking about it yesterday. Inter Miami is moving on to the quarterfinal. Apparently they were set to take on 2 teams. I should probably do more research before I talk about it. but I believe it was Houston, if I'm not mistaken, who
Possibly.
blew a 2-goal lead or blew a
1
1
minute,
goal lead
yeah.
in 1 minute, which brought up the question of epic sports collapses. Is that Atlanta New England Super Bowl the
Nope.
most epic sports collapse of all time?
Right. Buffalo against Houston.
The Oilers?
Yeah, it was
Frank
35-3,
Yeah. Ooh.
and they lost.
What was the significance of that though? That was a
It was a
wild
playoff-
card
it
game?
was a playoff game,
Oh,
yeah.
wild card, yeah. Super Bowl though, that's not no one.
Yeah,
That is pretty
yeah.
shaky.
Yeah, I mean that one's gonna be up there. You have to go. If you go basketball, probably what's crazy about when Cleveland came back down 3-1 to the greatest team ever.
Yeah.
That was but here's the funny part is that the series before the Warriors did it to OKC. Remember, OKC was up 3-1 on the Warriors, and they came back. So if anybody should know that that's possible, it would have been the Warriors.
Yeah, Draymond too, doing his thing, kicking people in the crotch. The Yankees and the Red Sox when they were up 3-0, that was pretty bad.
Yeah,
that was 3-0 is pretty bad. I mean, we had it this year. Wasn't the Panthers down 3-1?
Yeah,
that's true.
against the greatest team in regular season
Yeah.
hockey.
Right, the greatest team, very similar, but it just
Oh.
wasn't for the Stanley Cup.
The Panthers were a minute away from taking that back home too.
Yeah,
I tell you what though, I know there was no real significance of it because it was so early in the season. People are definitely gonna forget about this. But that epic comeback last year that the Dolphins had against Baltimore.
Oh
that
yeah,
was amazing, dude. That was an amazing.
It was amazing. Like it is like it's one of the best things about sports and one of the worst things about sports. If you're on the other side, you can't do nothing to stop it. And you're trying everything. You can't stop it.
And you're trying not to think about it. You don't want to get in your head. It's in your
You just
head.
want to go out and play. And it like that momentum gets going. Big play on defense, big play on special teams. It's hard to stop. I've been on both sides of that.
Very memorable game, by the way.
Yeah, against Miami.
A team that we hate. Oh no, the Falcons.
University of Miami.
Oh, that was college. I'm talking about pro.
Well, the game that we lost, it wasn't really a unbelievable comeback. We were never down, never up by more than 7.
Right.
So it was always, but they went down and scored with like a minute. And that was, devastating. But
I do want to talk about the Super Bowl. We've been talking about Super Bowl. What is your definition of a contender this year? Because yesterday I was talking to Omar Kelly. He's our dude. And he was like very elitist with his contender. I'm not so specific because, I mean, as far as he's concerned, there's like the Philadelphia Eagles in the NFC, and in the AFC, it's basically just the Bills, Kansas City, and Cincinnati. Are you as strict with it? I'm gonna go broad. I think the Dolphins are
because before last year, you wouldn't have had Philly in that.
Right. Philly was quote unquote not a contender.
Here's what I would say. There's a couple of teams that are very talented, and if things go their way, they can. So, for example, you think of somebody like San Francisco. If they have a consistent quarterback, whoever they choose, if he is the quarterback all year and he's playing reasonably good, he don't have to be great, but that team just needs a competent quarterback that's healthy. They're going to compete for a championship. I don't know what the turnaround was with Geno Smith. That team is on the rise. I don't know how people feel about the Chargers.
Some people say they're contenders.
Right. So
what about the Ravens? They're contenders.
The Ravens, they finally see now. The thing with the Ravens is the thing that I like is that I believe that Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen have very similar abilities, but Lamar Jackson is a better passer from the pocket. So when Lamar Jackson gets weapons and stops running as much, he can still be a competent quarterback, still be really good quarterback. So they're always in the hunt. I can't explain it. If Lamar Jackson is healthy, they are contenders,
Mhm.
right? I'm a little sour on Buffalo for this reason. Buffalo, to me, has played football a certain way for the last 4 years with Josh Allen. A guy who came into the league who was not known for his accuracy is all of a sudden saying he want to pass more from the pocket and not run as much. So we're now going to look at Josh Allen as mostly a passer. I'm not buying it. You got to be who you are. Now you can take precautions, not try to run over everybody, but you can't not be who you are. And so from that standpoint, Josh Allen is multi-talented. He has the ability to beat you with his feet. He has the ability to extend plays and then throw the ball with that cannon. If you just sit him in the pocket and make him one-dimensional, I don't know if he can win a championship that way. So I'm when he said that, I was out. I don't think the Jets are going to be contenders. Simply because we just going to ignore the fact that they beat one playoff team last year. That's it. So until I see them, and I get who Aaron Rodgers is, but keep in mind, for the last few years, we've been complaining about Aaron Rodgers not getting it done.
Mhm.
Him, not the Green Bay, him. So now all of a sudden, he gonna all of a sudden be Aaron Rodgers that only won one championship? Let's not forget, we praise Aaron Rodgers all the time. He only won one championship and has been the number one seed a number of times. So I'm not buying it. I think the Dolphins have a real good chance.
Mhm.
Here's why. Not because of Tua,
Nope.
because of what they've done on defense.
That's
Right?
true.
What they've done on defense, because at times last year they'd get pressure on the quarterback, but they couldn't stop. They couldn't get to him. Or they leave somebody wide open in the secondary because of all the injuries and all the things they had to do. They probably couldn't run their full arsenal of defense because you were always patching it up. So look for them to be a lot better this year. Carolina's going to take a step. They're going to take a step up because they're not bad, right? They're really good defensively. They really like Bryce Young, but he's a rookie, and I think they may take that next step. But they're not contenders. You got to make the Dolphins contenders. But what they do offensively, and like I said, that defense turned it around. A lot of people talking about the Saints. I would caution that. I'm not sure what they're going to be. Who else? We got Cincinnati. Cincinnati's going to be playing catch up after week 5 because Joe Burrow's out for a few weeks.
They're not worried about the beginning of the season anyway.
They're not, but guess what? There's a big difference in playing at home and then playing the championship on the road than having to play all your playoff games on the road. There's a big difference. Who else we got? We got New England.
Minnesota.
Here's what's interesting about I'm gonna throw these 3 teams at you. Minnesota, Green Bay, and Detroit. Okay. And now you got Chicago. People got high praise for Fields. They think he's going to make that Jalen Hurts jump. I'm not making them contenders because people think he's going to make that next jump, right? They were a dumpster fire last year. Green Bay is the one that intrigues me because we had these same exact conversations when Brett Favre left and Aaron Rodgers took over. Same exact conversations.
Yes.
Oh, they're going to take a year to rebuild and this and that and that. And Aaron Rodgers came out like gangbusters after sitting for what, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers sat for 4 years. So, you know what? Jordan Love got a chance. They like him. They've done this before. They are familiar with changing from a Hall of Fame quarterback to a beginner. They've done a really good job at it, and they've had consistency at quarterback for longer than most organizations. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Detroit, Jared Goff. I don't like. All right. I mean,
How about them
remember
Cowboys. Good team.
Good team.
I like that Prescott.
I saw the Cowboys are getting the Dolphins treatment, where I saw a headline that said Dak Prescott throws 3 interceptions in practice. I'm like, oh, they got somebody else who's getting those.
I would say this is that the way that they have done things, just offensively, whereas you fired a guy who really didn't deserve to be fired, Kellen Moore, and you moved on from him because now the coach is going to make calls. Dak Prescott got to be a lot better. Their defense is going to keep him in games. And if you figure Dak, why did I do that? If Dak were to cut his interceptions in half, they'll be more of a contender. That's just the nature of it. But they're with the Eagles. And right now the Eagles are humming.
Yep.
So
that's tough.
You got the Eagles. I'm out on New York.
Oh,
and here's why.
Don't believe in Brian Daboll?
Here's why. I'm out. Here's why. You forgot who you are.
Oh, Saquon.
You think Daniel Jones is the star.
He ain't that dude.
You think Daniel Jones is the guy.
He ain't that dude.
He ain't that dude. Not that dude. So they're going to struggle a little bit. So I think the Cowboys,
they'll be good.
They'll be good, but are they going to be Philly good?
Are they good enough to beat the Philadelphia Eagles or even the San Francisco 49ers? And they've proven no.
Right. Exactly. So we'll see another year, a whole bunch of moves to try to make something better that, really the best thing you can do is just stick with it. Right? Stick with it, add some talent, and try to do it that way. But if you make drastic changes, now you're going to start the process over again. Dak's getting older. You're going to have to start paying some of these defensive guys. You got an offensive lineman holding out now. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's I think my list right now would be 10, 12 teams.
Yeah, that's what realistic. That's the way I look.
Realistically, that everybody has flaws. Everybody has things that I have questions about. But at any point in time, they could go on a run, just like the Eagles did last year. Everybody had questions about Jalen Hurts, right? All these questions about Jalen Hurts. The Eagles started off like gangbusters, and then you're like, okay, here we go. Another team could do that.
I understand. Let's get to headlines real quick. These headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store?
Palmetto Ford, we know trucks.
Of course, the Dolphins are holding day 2 of practice with the Falcons, Miami Gardens. Of course, the preseason game is Friday at 7 o'clock. Apparently, there has been some whispers. The Heat offered the Trailblazers a deal that would trade Tyler Herro to a third team. Also, Trailblazers will get some expiring contracts, a young player like Nikola Jovic, and draft capital for Damian Lillard.
Look,
sweetener.
It's gonna get done, right? There's no urgency to get it done right now because there's no basketball. If things start getting closer to camp, and this to me, this would be more of an issue for Portland because they're gonna have to answer more questions than the Heat. Because right now the Heat could just go into season with the same team that got them to the finals. With some young length and some healthy guys, right? So Portland hasn't been there. Portland is rebuilding.
They got Scoot Henderson.
Yeah. All right.
What if Portland, let's say Dame doesn't get traded, Portland goes in the first 2 weeks, they're a really good team. They have a really good record. Does that change anything?
No.
What if the Heat have a bad record the first 2 weeks? Does that change anything?
No.
Nothing?
No.
What if the Heat have a really good record?
No. Doesn't change.
They still want Dame. No matter what. Win, lose, or draw. You want Dame.
It's not that. It's just a matter of even if the Heat start off 10-0, Dame comes in. Now you're talking about championship.
Yeah.
You ain't talking about just going 10-0. The Heat have had great records before. If you talk about 2 years ago, they were the number 1 seed. Okay, so yeah. But you look at Portland. First of all, Dame ain't playing for them. So they can try and try to manipulate the situation and think Dame's going to be a pro and what have you, right? But Dame's not playing for them. They've already took their stand when they drafted Scoot Henderson. And Dame had the conversation with him. Hey, use that pick, flip it. Let's get some. Let's get, another player to help me. And they traded McCullough, which was his running mate. So, and then they drafted a guy that played the same position as Dame.
Got a lot of guards.
Right. So, yeah, it's got to happen. But the thing is, and I think the reason why the Heat aren't, going through great lengths to get it done now is because they already have a Eastern Conference championship team at home. They're like, as is.
Yeah.
On their record, they got Eastern Conference champions.
And for now, Tyler Herro is a member of the Heat. We're going to get into that in just a minute, but a couple of quick other headlines. The Marlins, they play the Reds today at 12:35. And remember, Inter Miami, they're going to be taking on Charlotte in League's Cup. That is 8:30, Drive Pink Stadium. You can hear it here on 560 WQAM.
Oh, one more quick thing.
Yep.
Hey, Marcos.
Yes, sir.
We got to give away some tickets.
We do.
Oh.
We have 2 family
Hey,
four-packs.
check this out.
Yes.
Because I'm feeling good.
Oh,
Right?
all
I
right.
looked in my bag.
Ooh, bag?
Christmas bag.
2 4-packs.
2 family 4-packs. That's
2
8.
family 4-packs.
It's like a week's worth of tickets.
Yep. So you guys pay attention. This is a special weekend. Friday, get to the park early.
Pinstripes.
They're honoring members of the 2003 World Championship. They're gonna do a little Q&A in the Marlins Museum with Tommy Hutton.
Nice museum.
That's
too,
at 5. That's at 5:45.
I like that JR.
And then the
spot.
Yanks are in town. I don't care how bad their record is; they still the damn Yankees.
They still got a winning record too, by the way.
And of course, you know where we gonna be at. The
JR's bar.
Budweiser section.
Oh
Yeah.
Standing room only, baby.
Yes, by the secret bar.
JR's bar, baby. $3 beers before the second inning.
Look at that.
I know about them teal beers.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, listen up. With Marcos, what you gonna? We gonna play some. We gonna play a game.
Yeah, man. Well, how about we do some trivia? We got 2 family 4-packs. One of them will be Marlins trivia. The other one will be Leroy related trivia because our boy Leroy is the one who's making this responsible for making this happen.
By the way, I had nothing to do with this. I hope your trivia is on point.
Yeah. Like speaking of that, Stun Steve actually sent me a question. There's this like NFL grid thing that I had mentioned earlier on that you were one of the answers to. You have to find players that played for both of these teams on a certain grid. Only 0.2% of people got this answer correctly. Player that played for the Minnesota Vikings and the Carolina Panthers. Leroy Hoard, of course.
Cool.
Yeah, so Stun Steve was only one of 0.2%.
I had no idea.
And I was like, you know what? Of course, we would be the people to know that.
All right. So when do you want to do the trivia today?
So look, we went long in the first hour. We'll come back, do a short segment and close this out. We'll do the first trivia in the 12 o'clock hour. How does that sound?
Got it. Sounds good.
12 o'clock hour. Up next, let's talk about Tyler Herro, Heat basketball player. Or is he? That's next here on Tobin and Leroy. It is our Tua of the program. Day Tua of joint practice with the Falcons going to be happening today. But let's overreact right now. Not about the Dolphins, but about Tyler Herro. He has his youth camp coming up. That is going to be Sunday, August 20th. They have released a promotional flyer, and it has Tyler Herro, but it's not in a Heat uniform. It's in a Heat uniform, but all the Heat stuff is all redded out. Let's overreact. What does this mean? What does it mean, Leroy? Does it mean he's no longer with the Heat? What's going on? Everybody's in a tizzy.
It means nothing. It means that it's not sanctioned by the NBA or the Heat.
No way, dude.
No
way. That was on
Everybody's
purpose.
going crazy. I'm getting texts. I'm
That
getting
was on
tweets.
purpose, dude.
It means that he's no longer right.
He's being petty. That's what it is.
Is that what it is? He's
being
taking all the
petty.
heat from his social media.
Hold on. Let me explain something to you.
Wait.
So at any point in time, the point of these camps is to generate as much money as possible, whether you give it to a charity, whether it's for your own, whether it's just to do it for the kids, right? You get sponsors, they sponsor it or whatever. His sponsorship would be better if that was a Heat jersey, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but he couldn't do it.
Oh, so he's not allowed to do it.
Right.
Oh, so this isn't, let's not read into this about him. Maybe he's not a member of the Heat or he's mad at the
he's
Heat.
not going to be a member of the Heat. but that's a side note. These camps are playing well before that.
You guys got this all wrong.
I like what you guys had, and we talked about it on Sports Day on the weekend, what you guys had with Bam and UD. They said volumes with what they said the other day on the show and what you guys played. Like, Bam straight up, it's business. I'm not a part of the business, but, I love Dame. Dame loves me. We love each other. Doesn't say anything about Tyler, who fellow Wildcat, by the way. And UD say, like, don't hang your head, shame. It's like, is Tyler really still a part of this team or anything going on with the Heat? Or is he just kind of in his own world right now?
I just think that here's what makes it hard for me. I get having to pick up your family and move and all that and how it could be a pain in the butt. And, sometimes the best you can be athletically all starts from being comfortable with your living arrangement, where you live, how you do things or whatever. We talk about that preseason football, the importance of it, right? But Tyler Herro's in a situation where he just got $130 million guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Like
in
any other sport, if you get moved around that much, you don't get paid. Basketball is a little bit different in that depending on the contract that you sign to pocket the money, it makes your trading viability that much more feasible, because now you have money to trade. So I understand Tyler being frustrated, upset, or what have you. But it's one thing to be frustrated from, say, like a football player, because when you get moved or anything like that, a lot of times it means less money or whatever, right? But in basketball, you already got your money.
Mm-hmm.
You already got, they gave the Heat rewarded you with a maximum, almost close to a max contract. So how can you be mad at the Heat? I'd be mad at the Heat if they wouldn't have did it.
Yeah,
and then got rid of it.
They have no intention of paying you.
Right. But they paid him. So that to me says the circumstances of where we are have changed. And we don't think anything less of you because we paid you a lot of money.
You getting that money
to
too.
get up in your feelings, like
yeah,
it has nothing to do with money, which is your profession.
Sergey brings up a good point. Tyler Herro likes that Miami lifestyle. He don't want to be in Indiana. He don't want to be in New Orleans.
100% agree.
In Houston.
100% agree.
In the Utah, see what happens. Oklahoma City.
But guess what makes it easier to live with?
That money.
Yeah. It's your profession, right? It's your job. They have already paid you in most cases, in most lines of work, right? If they pay you for 5 years, you're working for 5 years unless you do something stupid.
Ask me this. Would you take minimum wage here in Miami or $1 million a year in Des Moines, Iowa?
Hey, I say, honey, just $1
One
million.
got some good spots.
Keep in mind, though, here's the
I'm
thing
talking
you
about
also
not as a
have
professional
to,
athlete,
here's the
just
thing
as
you
a-
also have to realize if you live down here. This is one of the most expensive places in the country to live.
Don't I know it? I'm living on the streets.
Don't fool yourself. So just imagine the house that I live in now, what that would look like in Des Moines, Iowa.
Woo!
Woo!
Take up a city block.
Yup.
A city block.
I send a picture back to you guys. I'm a farmer now. They go, what? You a farmer? I say, I guess so. I got a whole bunch of wildlife on all this land. So, like, I get it. I get the part that's frustrating for Tyler. I get the point that he's agitated, irritated about him always being in trade rumors. But in most cases, like, it's a salary dump. But in this case, they're trading an asset because you are that valuable.
Yep.
You have to look at it from your perspective and the team's perspective. And they already gave you your money. You don't have to go somewhere and wonder whether you're going to get it.
You've earned it. Of course, let's not freak out that Tyler Herro is not wearing a Heat uniform in his flyer for his youth summer camp. He is still, as you see it on the screen, if you're watching on Twitch and YouTube Live, he is still a member of the Heat for now.
I'm freaking out, dude.
Hey, youth basketball camp, there's going to be kids at that camp with more facial hair than him. Right? Marcos, when did you have a mustache?
I was born with one, actually, if I'm not mistaken.
but it's weird because frogs don't have lips.
Okay. Just a mustache that came out.
Let's take a break, talk a little more Heat next here on the Tobin and Leroy Show.
WQAM, broadcasting live from the Ed Moore Sawgrass
We fight! We fight! We fight! We fight! We fight! Let's go!
Rebound to Wade, and Wade passes way too long.
No, got it! To LeBron! A swing of beauty! A full court pass! Wade puts up a tough shot. Got it! Wade with 0.1 second left in the ball game! And a double clutch Dwayne Wade in his house! To the basket, Wade up with it. Got it and fouled! Oh, the circus is in town! Now Wade gonna drive on Westbrook. Scoop up and got it in, Dwayne Wade! And the Heat by 5 now.
Huge drive. On the baseline, a pass intercepted. Wade with Neal there. Around Neal's
Right hand jam! Oh, what a play by Wade! He went right around Neal with that little step of his and slammed it home. Oh, Dwayne Wade looking like he just came out of Marquette. Wade. Oh, they got the rebound on the miss. Wade will throw it to LeBron. He'll hold on. They'll play keep away. And they'll give it to Chris Bosh. And the Miami Heat are going to be back-to-back champions of the basketball world. It never gets old having a parade for the 3rd time down Biscayne Boulevard.
Robbers, Illinois. 6'4" guard. Dwayne.
Soon to be Hall of Famer, Heat lifer, Heat great, Dwayne Wade, the Godfather. Pat Riley recently stated the very obvious when it comes to Mr. D. Wade.
Over the body of work over 17 years here in Miami, Dwayne's the greatest player who ever played for the Heat.
Pretty obvious right there, Leroy. Mount Rushmore, you're putting him first and foremost.
Yep.
But who else makes your Mount Rushmore when it comes to Heat players?
I have a weird list.
Oh, Cody Zeller?
Because it's all guys who probably mean more to this organization
than their overall body of work.
Right.
Okay.
So D Wade,
number 1.
I'm gonna go UD.
Yes.
I'm gonna go why did I just the name I'm gonna go with 33. You know, Alonzo Mourning.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna pick the OG. And this is probably the first. I don't know how to like. I want it is between 2 players.
Ronnie Cycli.
That's what I was. No, really. I was gonna say Ronnie Cycli because he was the first like Heat guy. Like when he left the Heat, he owned every stat known to the Heat. He was the first. So as far as importance to this franchise, right? I would say like I was contemplating maybe Glenn Rice, but the problem is that he didn't play here that long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I didn't include LeBron or that's why I didn't include Shaq because
Shaq helped us turn the page.
Right. Help. Yes. And it is important. And I'm not talking about great NBA players.
Right.
The list would be different. But I'm talking about guys for this franchise. So I can't really think of, anybody else or any other players whose impact, if I mention those names, you're going to always know that. When I say Ryan Cycli, oh, he was the first, the first guy, the first, Heat guy.
Any consideration for Jimmy Butler?
At this juncture?
Yes.
Yes, you could. You could.
What about
and it's kind of hard. The one thing that makes it hard is he's still writing his story.
Right, but he has made it to some finals. He's gone to
right. He made it to 2 finals, 3 conference finals,
kind of
3 conference championships. His body of work is amazing. I would I would say if I was being recent, if I was having recency bias, yeah, I'll put Jimmy in there. But the only reason why I didn't is because none of those other guys actually, when you think Mount Rushmore, you're thinking of guys who have already completed.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like who puts like you don't put current guys on a Mount Rushmore, right? Do you?
No, I do.
Because I would say, you know, you would have to consider Bam. Bam is going to have a 15, 20-year career here.
I would say right now, I would put Jimmy Butler on the Mount Rushmore before, and it might sound crazy, before Tim Hardaway or Glenn Rice. His body of work.
See, I didn't
appearances.
Right. But no, I get it. I can't argue it. Right. I would say when you think of Tim Hardaway, Glenn Rice, you know, all the guys that I pretty much talked about besides Zoe were homegrown. You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So you're talking about UD, you're talking about Ryan Cycli, you're talking about D Wade. He lifers, okay? You started here, you played most of your career here. These other guys were either traded for or whatever, not saying that they can't, like I'm not saying Jimmy can't be on the Mount Rushmore. But that's where I talked when I thought about my Mount Rushmore, I was thinking about OGs, guys who you know, associate the Heat with only. And so I think as Jimmy goes on, yeah, because he's been here, 6 years?
5?
I think this is going to be the 6th.
This is going to be the 6th year. Like, are we doing anybody that's been 5 years? Right? That seems kind of short for Mount Rushmore. Regardless of what the accomplishments are. I'm looking at, okay, only 5 years. So I get it. I'm not going to be mad at anybody. I'm not going to argue with anybody puts Jimmy on the Mount Rushmore. But all the things that I'm talking about these guys that I mentioned, the one thing they have is longevity with the organization. So that's just who you got?
Oh, I got, of course, Dwayne Wade, Alonzo Mourning. That's where it gets kind of tough. I like Shaquille O'Neal simply because he helped us get around,
2 years you going to Mount Rushmore?
Yeah, and Jimmy Butler. I like Jimmy Butler. He embodies Heat culture.
So you know UD?
I was saying,
okay. I'll put UD in instead of Shaquille O'Neal.
Right. Like you see what I mean? But look at the path. You're starting to go along the same path. Like contributions to the organization and longevity mean a lot to me. Now, you might like the accomplishments no matter what the length was. Because if you include Jimmy, you got to include LeBron.
Yeah.
Because LeBron played 4 years and went to 4 championships.
He great. He made the Heat organization.
And won 2 championships. But I don't include LeBron because it was only 4 years.
I don't know. Let's see. So
I see none of you guys never even considered Chris Bosh.
No, because he's in the same boat. It's not a knock on Chris Bosh. Same boat as far as how many years. Are you thinking all the guys that I'm talking about? How long did Ryan Cycli play for the Heat?
He played from 88 to 94.
So 7 years.
No.
6, 7 years. Yeah. That's about right.
He makes it happen on Wheels of Steel too.
Yeah, it's good.
So think about this. D Wade, 17 years. UD, 20 years.
Oh.
Zoe got what? 10 plus total. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And Cycli got 6, but he was the OG. The first, the first Avenger. Right? Right? So if you gonna include other guys, and I'm not saying that there weren't other guys who were better. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying for this organization, right? It means a lot to everybody talking about Heat lifer and putting in those years. And so when you talk about 17, you talk about 10, you talking about 20 years, right? Who else is going to feel and be able to go with those three? There's a lot of great players that have come through here. But who are you gonna compare those three guys in the longevity and what they meant to the organization? Who are you gonna include with that? Jimmy's only got 5 years. So I say if he finished his career here, we having a different conversation.
Maybe Tyler Herro one day. We'll have to wait and see. We don't know. We don't know.
know.
Next hour, your chance to win Leroy's Marlins tickets and more here on 560 WQAM.
1, 2, 3,
It is absolutely cold as ice in these studios. My goodness.
True. About
Well,
6 degrees.
Leroy,
right
when
now.
was the last time you came to the studio and was it freezing? I mean, that's a rhetorical question, but goodness gracious.
I'm even worse than you are because I complain. They say it's not that bad. I'm like, but Dan, I mean, you ain't got no meat on your bones, brother.
That's true.
So
Not
it's
built
going
for
right to the bone.
extremes. Yeah, the extreme
Hey,
cold, extreme heat. Oh.
Let put it on the record.
Apple a day.
Eli Apple.
Oh man. Oh, high hopes for Eli Apple.
He's actually helping Leroy get healthier.
Oh.
Leroy vows
I
to eat an apple each day that Eli Apple's on the team.
I don't mind Leroy Apple talking all the noise that he's talked in the past because that's part of the game. But then to take on a whole city, not an organization,
Yeah,
says nasty things about New Orleans, whether it be my city or not. How can you take on a whole city like that?
after playing terrible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way,
Yeah, right.
Jamal
So-
Williams, you heard him talk about the beignets, saying they were just fun.
But-
Okay.
But there's some accuracy to that. They're made with the same, but here's the difference. A beignet is never made until you buy it. So the freshness of it. Just imagine you ordering a dozen donuts and they fry them right there.
Woo!
That's what a
Woo.
beignet is. So whether he looks at it as a beignet just being a funnel cake, he can say that.
You can say that. I don't
But,
take
but
it.
the
Yeah.
delivery of said funnel cake is unbelievable. You put it in that bag with that powdered sugar.
And you got so much extra powdered sugar.
Oh, dude.
Oh.
I bet you they put the amount of powdered sugar they put in the bag costs more than the actual beignets.
I'm not even gonna lie. When I would go to like Cafe Beignet, Cafe Du Monde, Coffee Call, they literally had those big plastic garbage cans just full of powdered sugar. They had like 5 of them.
Yeah.
Like, how do you have that much powdered sugar?
But
And then you know what you do with the leftover powdered sugar? You put it in your coffee or your hot cocoa.
that's it. But they are delicious. But I'm not mad at nobody to say a beignet is just an elephant ear. Like, I get that.
Food
I
prepping.
understand that. He didn't say they were garbage.
True.
Right?
He didn't see no garbage.
Yeah, it's okay to take on a food. It's not okay to take on a whole city because you can't really generalize.
He said,
everything in
dude,
a city.
well, Eli Apple said the city stinks. The food isn't that good, which is just a lie. You're lashing out, right? And, he's like, okay. I said, if you had made 2 Pro Bowls, the city would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Because you get burned every game. The city sucks.
Maybe he'll make amends here in Miami. Do some good things. Hopefully.
Guys, please. It's the man's birthday. Jeez.
Is it really?
Eli Apple's
It
birthday?
is indeed Eli Apple's birthday.
How old is he?
today.
36?
He is not 36.
He's 27.
He is 28.
Wow.
Yeah, as of today, he is 28.
Right. And played on 4 teams already as a first round pick. That's all. Look,
Oh man. Okay.
that's all we
right.
need to know.
Happy birthday, Eli Apple.
Love you.
Happy
Do some good
birthday.
things.
Yeah.
Keep your finger in
Happy
the
birthday,
dam until-
Buckeye.
Keep your finger in the dam until Jalen Ramsey gets here, please, 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 please.
But the thing is, though, at that position, they got a lot of depth because they got a lot of guys returning from
Kader
injury.
I want
Kader Cole was good last year.
Yeah, nickel guy.
Right. So they have some depth at that position to where the hopes and dreams of this team is not depending on how Eli Apple plays corner.
Still, I'd like to see him do some things. Make a little bit of noise. Mhm.
It'll be the first time.
In just a
That's
few
it.
minutes,
I'm not gonna
actually,
say nothing.
next segment, get to that apple a day.
Yeah.
Oh man! In the next segment, your chance to win Leroy's tickets to a Marlins game this weekend against the Yankees. Now, I'm gonna do a little
Yeah.
trivia. So brush up on your Leroy Hoard and Marlins trivia. so
Hey,
you-
just a quick update. Get there early.
Really? Why?
Traffic is going to be crazy, but they're honoring in 2003 some of the guys from 2003 championship team, and they're going to do a Q&A or with Tommy Hutton at 5:45. You can go and to the Marlins Museum
I love it.
And those guys will be there. So
And it's a small museum, so you're gonna be right there next to them.
So you gotta get there early. Plus, the parking is gonna be ridiculous. It's Friday.
It's a weekend.
It's a weekend.
Can I bring a stroller in there? Probably not, right?
No, you can.
Yeah, you can bring a stroller.
Security was cool when I went on Thursday. They were there. Come on, man. You ain't got no bags. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Nice.
No time for all this. So keep that in mind. If you don't have a bag, they don't really check you. I'm just saying.
Which is Marcos.
Yeah.
You haven't responded.
What? What'd I say? I'm sorry. To a text message or to something in the chat?
Text message.
Well, this is yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm there.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely there.
All right.
Whether it's me, my brother, me, my baby, or me and my baby mama, I'm definitely there.
Hey, because you still didn't respond to the text. That's why I was curious.
Put it in print.
Right.
You put it in print. Make it
Gotta
official.
put it in print.
Let's get to the headlines real quick before we give away these tickets in the next segment. These headlines are brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store?
Palmetto Ford. We know trucks. And Marcos.
Yes.
Don't be a jackass.
No, I responded.
After we already had the conversation, Marcos just texts me and goes, "I'm there."
I gotta put it in writing. No, you gotta put it in writing.
Gotta put it in writing. It makes it official.
Yeah.
And it'll stand in a court of law, although we have this video and audio.
No, that was a verbal agreement. I verbally agreed. I verbally committed to Leroy's festivities on Friday.
Verbals don't stand up in court as much as paper, man. That paper, it's just hard evidence. They can touch it. They can feel it. If you can't touch it and feel it, sometimes it's not real, you know?
What's going on
Really?
here? What's going on?
Really?
That's what I say. That's what I say when I'm out on the weekend.
Well, hey,
For
I'll
multiple
give you one
seasons.
that you can touch and feel and they're not real.
Hey, I'm not sure if we should.
Well, I'm just saying, listen, Dan out here making random statements.
Yeah,
True statement.
Dan started the show with he's excited for this joint practice.
True story.
And Dennis, look, here's the arbiter. Please stop.
Let's talk about Udonis Haslem. He's made his first post-NBA move. He's become the owner of the Reboot Renegades in the World Highlight League.
Ooh, yes, I did see that. A few, I think Masvidal picked up a team. Udonis Haslem picked up a team. So highlight. I don't understand the sport.
Let's ask Leroy, being a former professional athlete, if you're going to dabble into one of these sports, would it be highlight? Would it be pickleball? Would it be maybe some obscure soccer team?
Cornhole. Now you know they got cornhole leagues now.
Oh, I thought you said porno. I was like, Leroy,
No,
come on, man.
cornhole.
Yeah, would you get into cornhole? What is it called? Smash ball?
What about professional axe throwing?
That's another one.
Dude, first of all, like I told y'all before, I'm not going to no bar with a bunch of rednecks throwing knives.
Drinking and throwing knives.
Drinking and throwing knives.
So I'm walking through Wynwood this weekend, and I walk by the axe throwing bar, and there's a guy with a pitcher of beer in one hand and an axe in the other.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
No. I'm out. I'm not saying that doesn't sound fun, but I don't want to be a part of that.
The bar fights there must be crazy.
Whoa. Woo. Like, the last thing I want to do when I'm drinking a beer and walking through Wynwood is to go in somewhere where people are throwing axes. Like, that's just no, man. I also almost walked out. I might have walked out on my bill this weekend in Wynwood, so I'm a little nervous.
Allegedly.
Well,
Possibly.
I don't know. We'll see. I didn't mean to. Let's just put it that way.
That's all right. Just tell the officer you didn't mean to. He'll understand. It's my fault, officer.
Would the police get involved on someone dine and dash?
Yes, because I have called them actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've been contacted by the restaurant.
I think it's more of just, excuse me, sir, you haven't paid, but I mean, it was busy. I don't know.
No, they break legs if it's anything more than $50.
Oh, well, I was in Wynwood, so it had more than $50.
Yeah, if you walked in, it was more than $50.
I ate some ant eggs. It was interesting.
Ant eggs?
Wait, what?
Ant eggs.
No. Okay, how big were the ant?
Would you have to eat like 7 million of them just to
they were in a salt, like a salsa or something. Or
so they just told you there was some ant eggs in there. You didn't know.
There was these little greasy bumps in there that I didn't know what was going on. And then I went to look back on the menu.
If they put a
ant
hold the hell up. If they put an actual ant in there, you wouldn't be able to notice it. Now you telling me you could notice an ant egg?
I didn't notice anything. I just ate it, and then I looked at the menu the next day, and I was like, "What did I get again?" And I was like, "It says it has ant eggs in it." And then someone's like, "Yeah, it's a popular ingredient in some Mexican cooking."
Hell no. It's so small. How can it really even affect?
Who's picking out ant eggs? Out
What
of
about caviar?
I'll eat
caviar.
No, it's salty.
Caviar is gross. Anyone who likes it.
What is it? Sturgeon eggs?
Caviar.
It is fish eggs. I know that.
It is. Caviar is oh my god, I can't even pronounce it. Yeah, sturgeon. Long story
I
short.
would be more of an escargot guy than a caviar guy.
Snails? What are we
I don't
doing
like
here,
snails.
guys?
You don't like snails? Okay.
Dan, but you could eat a snail and then crawl in his house and steal it.
That's true. That's what I like. Marlins are going to get underway at 12:35 today against the Reds.
Who's on the bump?
Who is on the bump? That is a good question.
Who's on the bump?
What time does it start? Can I put it on?
12:30.
Would it be Jesus Luzardo? I'm guessing I haven't seen him pitch in a while.
I'll tell you because I know everything about baseball. It's delayed. Oh,
we'll never get this game in.
Yeah, Johnny Cueto on the hill.
Oh, that's right. They said yesterday.
I saw him pitch Thursday.
Somebody send a memo to give him some 38s and stop trying to squeeze them 34s.
He likes to wear the clothes tight.
I was gonna ask,
but he's
hey, look, he walks around like he breathing like CPAP.
That's Johnny Cueto, man. That's his style. That's his style.
What's the weather in Cincinnati that they're delaying things?
Rain. It was a delay. What was it? Delay. Was it a delay? Oh no, it rained before the game, and they had to rush to get batting practice in, and then they made it in time for the game.
Gusty winds and severe storms right now in Cincinnati. 83 degrees.
Oh.
See, that's what I don't like
The
about
weather's rolling in
places.
here, too.
It's up north, and it can get just as hot as where I live and way colder.
Yeah,
not a fan.
That's called seasons.
Yeah,
Never heard of them.
those.
Seasoning.
But you know what's funny though, Marcos?
Yep.
If a front comes here, it's just a front. Like you might get some rain or whatever, but a front will come through up north. It'll be 20 degrees, and you can see the line of clouds. And so as soon as those clouds go by, on the other side, it's like 20 degrees cooler, especially in the winter. It's a crazy thing.
You can actually feel the seasons. Oh, before we get to giving away those Marlins tickets that Leroy has in his possession, let's quick take a step into the day spa. Tampa Mayor Jane Castor recently reeled in 7 pounds of cocaine while on a fishing trip.
The mayor?
Yep.
Something's a little fishy about that, huh? She gets pulled over and she's like, no, I found it in the ocean.
Hey, here's what's crazy.
Saving the ocean.
Somebody who left that there saying, we left 10.
Yeah, 7 seems like an odd number, huh?
Yeah. Wait a second. Isn't it a federal crime too, though, if you find cocaine like on the beach, like washed up to actually like take it and use it or distribute? Well, obviously distribute it, but like it's like No Country for Old Men. You find money or drugs, just bring it to the police or leave it be.
Can I just say this? If you find that much cocaine,
coming for it,
and you decide to keep it, you ain't got to worry about the police.
No Country for Old Men.
You better be worried about the people who left that cocaine there.
No
I wouldn't touch that. I wouldn't touch that cocaine, not because I would get in trouble. I wouldn't touch that cocaine because the owners of that cocaine come at you with a different fury than the police.
Yeah, Coke owners are very protective of their product. I've noticed that.
Huh.
At least in movies. I don't know.
Huh.
Leroy, you own some Marlins tickets, but you're not that protective of them. You want to give them away. So
I want to give
next,
them away to our people.
to our people.
These
That's
are the people's tickets.
the people's tickets, but you have to
Now,
own them.
You might have to jump through a little Marcos hoop to get
Yeah.
What you got? What we got, Marcos?
So coming up, we're going to do some Leroy themed trivia. We're going to line up the callers. We're going to get them ready. We're going to go down the line. Leroy, I'm going to have you pick a number. I'm going to bring that caller on the air and ask them a Leroy related trivia question. If they get it correct, they win the tickets. If they get it wrong, we move on to the next caller. But I need every single person when they get on air to give me a Leroy. Or else I'm hanging up.
Somebody, I'm gonna tell you right now, 2 people didn't do it and they didn't get the tickets yesterday.
Correct.
You have been warned. That is next. You're on Tobin and Leroy.
Nice.
No time to him and Hall. We've got.
Oh, you know some old person at a party go, this my jam!
Turn it up!
Turn it up!
Oh!
Wait, Frankie Beverly and Maze and Earth, Wind, and Fire in the Stone. If you play that at a party, everybody getting up. Especially at a black barbecue.
Oh, hold up.
Hold up. Wait. They'll stop eating for those for Frankie Beverly and Maze. They'll stop eating.
Put that plate
And believe
down.
me, I know because I got some big ones in my family.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Hey, I ain't told y'all think I'm kidding. I'm the smallest person in my family, women included.
I like when they get that satisfied. They're not eating. They're talking about the music.
Yeah.
That's
That's the only
good.
time it was quiet in my house. Feeding time.
Oh, man, it's time to feed on some Marlins tickets. Marcos, take it away.
Oh, I got music. Our very own Leroy Hoard was kind enough to secure quite a bit of tickets. So much so we will be giving away 2 family 4-packs this show.
Now, is there any rules if I win Leroy's tickets? Like, do I have to sit somewhere? Do I have to stand somewhere?
Well, we're all going to be by the Bud Bar.
Oh, of
The
course.
Budweiser Bar out there in left field.
Beautiful.
That's our hangout. That's where we go, right? So your ticket to get you in the game, but that's where we going to be. So
Okay.
if y'all want to hang out with me, Tobes, and Marcos, if you want to come out and hang out with us, right? Have some drinks, have whatever, have a good time. We're going to be out in left field by the Budweiser Bar. You can't miss it.
It's really the biggest thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you miss it, you got some issues.
Yeah.
Maybe you already hit the Budweiser bar a couple times, and that's why you missed it, which is understandable. But we have some Leroy themed trivia that we're going to get into right now. I got a couple callers that lined up on the break here. I'm going to start off with them, and then I'm going to move into a couple if we can't manage to get any winners from here. Now, the rules are simple. I will ask you a Leroy-related trivia question, right? You're going to have an opportunity to answer that question. If you don't not answer it within the time allotted or you get it incorrect, we move on to the next caller. Another thing that will disqualify you, if I go to this phone line, I hope everyone is listening, and you guys do not give me a Leroy to start things off, I'm going to hang up on you. I'm just going to do it. That's how I'm feeling today.
Yep.
So we're going to get to the phone lines now. We got Doug on line 2. Doug. Welcome to the show. All right. I appreciate it.
Has some bass to it. Has some bass to it.
Yeah.
From the say it with your chest. I like it.
All right. Now, Doug, we're going to give you a softball to start things up here. We don't want to scare everybody off. Leroy Hoard had an illustrious Pro Bowl NFL career. Can you name all the teams that Leroy Hoard played for?
Yeah, Cleveland, Baltimore, Carolina, and Minnesota.
Yes!
Yes!
Now, Doug, you got the question correct. We're going to go ahead and put you on hold. We're going to do this tournament style. I'm going to go to the other callers I have on hold. If someone else is able to get one of these questions right, we'll go on to the final round. Thank you so far, Doug, for following the rules. We're going to put you on hold. Now, let's go to caller number 3. We got Eric on line 3. What's up, Eric? You're on air.
Leroy.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
I look, double love right there. Double love right there.
Now, Leroy Hoard, known for his tough style of running, but that developed from his childhood. Which ward of New Orleans is Leroy from?
Which ward?
Guess
Which
a number.
ward? Got 10 seconds, Eric.
Like, I don't hear the question.
Which ward?
Just a number?
Yep.
It's a number.
It's a numbered ward.
It's a number ward for Leroy Hoard.
4.
Ooh,
No.
I apologize. Eric, the correct answer was Leroy?
9.
Ninth Ward Hoard.
Which we talk about all the time.
Ninth.
That is Dan Day's nickname for him at this point.
Ninth Ward. Ninth Ward Hoard.
Now we're going to go ahead and move on to caller number 5. Richie. Richie, you're on air.
Leroy.
Yeah.
What's up, my boy?
What's happening?
Good, man. That was pretty good. Now,
All right, give it to me.
what famous bowl game did Leroy dominate throughout his collegiate career?
What? Say that. What favorite bowl game?
What famous bowl game did Leroy dominate throughout his collegiate career?
The Rose Bowl.
Leroy?
Yes.
That is correct. We have.
I know you played.
Rose
I know where you played, so I know you dominated that. Go ahead.
All right. So far we have Richie on hold and we have Doug on hold with 2 questions correct. We're going to go ahead to our last one, Mike, because I feel like I had him wait this entire time. I'd be remiss if I didn't go to him. Mike.
Leroy.
Got it.
Pretty good. Boom. Now, Leroy is a man of many, many talents. But because of his golf hobby, this has made him an expert at this task. What is Leroy Hoard an expert at?
Do it every day.
Buying lunch?
That's not it.
That's not a bad answer.
Not a bad answer. But
unfortunately, that is not the correct answer. The correct answer, Leroy?
Weather.
Weather.
Every day I do the weather.
Because he is indeed a golfer. Now, we're going to go ahead and go to our 2 contestants that are still on the line here. They've done a good job of holding. They've done a good job of answering things correctly. So we're going to go back to Doug on line 2. Doug, you're on air again.
Leroy.
That's right. See, that was a test there. If you didn't do it. Now, Leroy Hoard. This man was told once by Charles Davis that if it was this player, it would have been a touchdown. What is the name of that player? Doug? 5 seconds.
Can I give him a hint?
You cannot, because I'm going to be reusing this question.
Running out of questions.
All right, Doug. I'm going to put
Robert
you.
Smith.
Whoa!
And I'm going to be nice about it. That's a great run by Leroy Hoard like he's had before. But if that's Robert Smith, it's 6 points for the Minnesota Vikings, most likely.
Wow.
He didn't even say, if you go trash me like that, be definitive, Charles. Don't say most likely. You got to be definitive if you trash me like that, right?
Nonetheless, it was the last second he was able to pull that off. Doug, I give you credit. Now we return to Richie. Richie, you are on the air.
Leroy.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Now I got a simple question for you. Leroy Hoard had a lot of accolades throughout his career, but is that a truck? When did Leroy Hoard make the Pro Bowl?
What do you mean? What year?
What year did Leroy Hoard make the Pro Bowl?
1990?
No.
Leroy?
No.
That is incorrect. I am so sorry.
Doug is the winner.
Doug. Let's get back on the line with Doug. Doug, you are the winner.
Leroy.
He coming at me like Lou Rawls. Leroy.
Doug, you are the winner of the first family 4-pack to the Marlins game this Friday. I'm going to put you on hold so I can get your information. Just wanted to congratulate you publicly.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a great day.
All righty. Hey,
Well,
don't tell him to meet us at the Bud Bar.
Don't worry, Doug knows where it's at. He'll be drinking in the car before. Not a joke. I know Doug.
Oh, damn. Well, also, Doug will be out there with 4 or 3 of his closest family and friends to see us and to see the Marlins. Flashback Friday, a bunch of good stuff.
Ooh,
Hopefully, you guys learned something about Leroy there. And Silly saw 778. I saw that you put 1948 when I asked what year did
Hey, what are we doing? Come on. Am I that old?
No. And you know what? You're nowhere near as old as Carl Weathers. So that was our first rendition. What do you think, Dante? Were you entertained?
I liked it. I learned a little something. Always good stuff right there. Very nice. So is that it? We got the tickets for Leroy done. We're ready to rock and roll with some more. Are we going to be doing this all week long?
So yeah, we got
today and tomorrow.
We got another 4-pack to give away tomorrow as well.
Another one today and then one tomorrow.
Oh, we got another one today? How are we going to give away the other pair today? We're going to do some more trivia?
We're going to do some more trivia this time. It'll be Marlins trivia.
Okay.
So,
you want to do it in the next hour?
Yeah, we'll do it in the next hour.
All right, up next, let's talk about some conference realignment and some rivalries with Leroy, because Leroy knows a thing or two about a college rivalry. And we'll kind of dive into that next here on Tobin and Leroy 560 WQAM. Marlins game this coming Friday. That's going to be a good one right there. The Yankees are in town. The Marlins, I would say they're streaking, but they've only won one game. They barely won a game last night.
Hey, when you lost 5 in a row, that's streaking, baby.
Streaking, baby. They're going to be sitting in the Budweiser beer bar in the outfield. You guys are going to be having a great time. I love it out there, man. It's so cool. It's so great. But got to talk about what everyone seems to be talking about nowadays, the wild, wild, wacky world of college football. It seems like you blink and there's new teams and new conferences all over the place. Seems like the Pac-4 not going very strong. The ACC possibly talking about Stanford and Cal coming over to the ACC. Don't know if that's going to happen. Oregon State and, it's Oregon State and Washington State. They're kind of just like, I don't know what's going to happen. A lot of people upset because they're saying with these alignments, some of the rivalries are gone now, like Oregon State. Maybe no more room for that. Of course, Leroy, you Michigan and Ohio State. That's going to stay because the Big Ten's sticking around. But are you worried about some of these rivalries possibly going away?
I mean, yeah, it's kind of some of the things that make college football what it is that these regional schools play each other and create kind of that rivalry. You know, it's like
it's not the same at the beginning of the season as it would be at the end.
Right. So I mean, ESPN had a whole week called Rivalry Week.
Yeah.
Where all these teams will play. So Michigan and Ohio State always seem to play it. They play every year.
They're
So
always
the Big Ten found a way to do it. I'm more than sure that if that Oklahoma State rivalry, or was that called the Red River rivalry?
Yes.
Or Stanford Cal.
Oh no, Red River rivalry is Texas, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Bedlam is
Oklahoma State, Oklahoma. Okay. So if they're really concerned about that rivalry, they can still make it work. Every other place has done it. You know,
are they going to disrupt conference play and let them step out of conference for a while?
No,
I mean, you're
what do
going
you
to pretty much play with these huge conferences now. You're going to have a lot of conference games now, it seems like.
No, you're still going to have, so think of it this way. You have 10 or 9 conference games and 3 non-conference games. Like, you're still going to be just, you're going to probably play 2 more conference games, which would be good because it'll help determine the conference champion a little bit easier.
But how does it affect these smaller schools that rely so much on getting the rent-a-win money?
They're still playing the same amount of garbage teams. Like, they're playing 13 games now. So if you have 9 or 10 conference games, there you go.
So what if you only have 3 non-conference games and one of them is for a rivalry?
That's what you normally have.
You normally have 2 rent-a-wins on the schedule?
You 3. You normally have 3. Right? Now, keep in mind, one year, here's what my non-conference games were. Ooh. UCLA, Notre Dame, and Miami.
That's not easy.
That both believe you play anybody anywhere.
That's the way you should be.
Right. But we lost the first 2 games, never lost another game, and never had a chance to win a national championship. So that's why you don't do it.
How does this sound? How does this sound? Let's say going forward, super conferences, everything starts getting eaten up. What if the SEC decides they want Florida State and Miami and decide to bring back the Florida State championship every year? Would that be something that would be interesting for most people here in South Florida?
Yes and no.
I'd like it.
If here's my thing.
The ACC deal is terrible. By 2036?
Right. Here's the deal.
We signed that deal.
If Miami can't get out of the ACC, there's nothing like going to the SEC and getting lost. Right? Because right now, same thing's happening in Texas A&M. So I don't know why people say, ooh, if Miami could join the SEC, then what?
You do it the old days of Schnellenberger. You put up the fence and you say, this is the state of South Florida.
The fence is no more because everybody's on TV.
But you say this is the state of South Florida. You don't have to go anywhere to play in the best football conference. You can play in the SEC and you stay right here. You don't have to go to Florida. You don't have to go to Alabama. You don't have to go to middle of nowhere, wherever else. And I mean, Athens not in the middle of nowhere, but middle of nowhere, Auburn or anything like that.
I mean, sure. You could say that.
And you got the NIL. Ooh.
You could say that. But again, if you've never gotten out of the ACC, you've never even played in a conference championship, you decide to go bite off a bigger apple?
I mean, it's inevitable, isn't it? If the ACC
I would just like one time for them to beat the teams that we've all been saying for years they should beat. And then talk to me about moving up in class. But for right now, you ain't getting out of this weight class.
Is there going to be a day when it's just Big Ten, SEC, and everyone else is kind of?
I think it'll be three. I think it'll be three conferences. Now, what I would do is what the difference if you take and go a Big Ten, conference that has 20 teams, and you go northeast, northwest, right? And those teams separate and then play for a championship, and then do it with the lower half, and do the same thing with like the SEC. You have 20 plus teams. You go East Coast, West Coast, and whatever. Basically, all you're doing is you're engulfing those other conferences, but still allowing them to be in their conference. You're just part of a bigger conference.
Bigger
umbrella. And that way, so you take the northwestern teams, right? And the northeastern teams, you go Big Ten East, Big Ten West, because keep in mind, in Michigan's fight song, they were considered the champions of the West.
Ooh.
So you do that, and then the championship, in effect, becomes Northeast against Northwest. And then down south, you do the same thing, and you go south, East versus Southwest. So in effect, you have 4 divisions in college football, and you can expand them however you want, but it's still going to be that. You end up playing, you could probably go up to 11 teams in each division or each conference, and you can play 10 games and then play your 3 non-conference games and then a championship. Or
with that, you can keep your rivalries.
Right, exactly. So teams ain't got to travel all across the country to play. But you still getting part of that big conference championship money.
How would you like that if Cal and Stanford were to join the ACC, like the volleyball team and other teams going all the way across the country to?
If Stanford did that and joined the ACC, you're basically saying it's all about the money. We don't give a damn about these kids. And there's nothing that could say that than having a kid in the middle of the season travel from the West Coast to the East Coast, or vice versa, the East Coast to the West Coast.
I thought that was already well known. It's all about the money. It's not about the kids or anything other than that. It's just about the money, exposure.
And it's easier to, you know what? Here's the thing that people don't realize. It's easier to pull this off when there's NIL.
Oh, yeah.
Because you can now say, everybody getting the cut.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
More eyes on them, too.
Right.
Coastal. Oh, man. Well, I guess now just the deals need to get done quicker so we can get these rivalries back in college football and basketball, baseball, whatever else. Up next, another chance to win Leroy Hoard's tickets, and we're going to talk about some soft players in the NFL. This is the Tobin and Leroy Show on 560 WQAM.
this point in my career, I play for these moments. You know, I don't play for regular season basketball.
Dang, back to Wade. Wade puts up a long shot. Got it! Oh, Dwayne Wade hit a three, and he points to the heaven, and I don't blame him. Wade, a long shot. Wade, got it! Wade is second three. Oh, my goodness, Dwayne Wade from downtown. Another prayer has been answered for D. Wade from beyond the arc.
Tonight in Game 6, I trust my teammates. I love them, but if we was going to lose, I was going to go out shooting it tonight.
Wade turns the corner. Wade, nowhere to go. Spin, turn around, tough shot. Wade's got it on a spin around. Dwayne Wade, the all-star team captain, has come through at the right time for the Miami Heat. Up 95-90 with 19.5 seconds left. Williams up top, Walker. Walker step around. Walker's going to go to the rim. And blocked from behind by Dwayne Wade. He is everywhere. And that's the ball game. Miami forces a Game 7. Dwayne Wade scoring the Heat's last 10 points, gets a humongous block, and he leads Miami to Game 7. The final score, the Heat 97 and the Hornets 90.
Say what you want. Woo! Say what you want. Yes, sir.
I'll say what I want. DWYANEWADEHOF. Hall of Fame for Dwayne Wade. Well deserved. We are going to be celebrating as time goes by. The greatest Heat player of all time, Mount Rushmore. We're not getting back into that. I also spelled Dwayne Wade's name because in just a couple of minutes, we're going to do some Leroy Hoard trivia with a chance for him.
Marlins
trivia.
Oh, it's not even. Oh, I wanted more Leroy Hoard trivia.
Sorry.
Marlins
this time.
Marlins trivia coming up. Before we get to that, though, Leroy, you played in a day when 2-a-days, 3-a-days, Oklahoma drills. Just standard, man. Just standard.
We didn't do there.
Did you do
Oklahoma drills were mostly for college.
Did you do those?
We did those in college.
Woo!
Yeah.
Did you love those? Because I'll tell you what, when I was in Pee-wee football, I did the old Juan Pierre's he was talking about yesterday. I would count how many people. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then I would put like, here, you can skip me. You can skip me. You can skip me. Make sure I lined up with the guy that was most appropriate to my size.
Oh, jeez. No.
I'm sure you were just bigger than everybody, so it didn't really matter.
Who, me?
Yep.
Not in college. Well, in college, here's what I hate. I hated in college the rah-rah stuff. Like everybody trying to hype each other up. Because, I just look across and I just think Tim Anderson. Y'all could get hyped up all you want, but if you stuck, you ain't going to be able to do nothing.
Yikes.
Sometimes you get stuck, too.
Yeah.
The best of the best get stuck sometimes. Well, Ron Rivera said that the Commanders, some guys have been kind of chirping and not very happy with Eric Bieniemy. So, Louisiana's own Booger McFarland, he weighed on this, and this is what he said about the players that are having a problem with the toughness of Eric Bieniemy.
Players are just soft. I think they've become accustomed to the surroundings and the culture that they have in Washington. I mean, seriously, guys. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, the reason you get a new coach, the reason you get a new offensive coordinator is because the old one wasn't doing a good enough job. And when you have a guy with the track record of Eric Bieniemy, a guy that's been to 5 consecutive AFC title games, a guy that's won 2 Super Bowls, and oh, by the way, he coached the best quarterback in football along with Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. You're going to talk about the way he coaches you. I couldn't get enough of Eric Bieniemy if I was a player of that Washington offense, nor would I care how hard he coached me. The fact that they have to complain and tell people, well, I don't like his coaching style. Well, guess what? The previous style didn't work for you because the offense wasn't good enough. And so, people are saying, should Ron Rivera have aired this? I like this because oftentimes a head coach is speaking to his team through the media. And when he let us know that the players are being a little soft, that tells you everything you need to know about the players on the Washington offense. It's not about who the quarterback is going to be. It's about the mentality. Take the coaching, get better, and move on. If I were a player in that locker room, I would feel really, really bad and really, really just not understanding of how we got to the point where we're complaining about being coached hard.
Telling you, can't argue it much.
I mean, he's not wrong. And then Ron Rivera made it worse because he read a written statement this morning. And I'm like, that wasn't very sincere.
Or did he apologize?
No, he basically said, look, what I was trying to relay to you guys, the wrong message got through. I don't have a problem with Eric Bieniemy and what he's doing and how he's coaching. But he was reading from a piece of paper. So it came across as being not very genuine. But listen, we can put whatever twist we want on what was said. The fact of the matter is that Booger said it right. If you didn't have a good year and you complaining about how you got coached, you got to get coached differently. The way you was coached last year didn't work. And that's usually what happens. Usually when they have a coach that's, listen, in sports, when they have a coach that's real laid back and quiet and the team doesn't respond, what do? You go get a hard ass.
Yep.
Right? So there's certain things you got to deal with, just in general. Like you got to deal with how coaches do things and whatever. But at the end of the day, you still got to do your job. If that coach makes it difficult for you to do your job, then you have a conversation with the head coach. But if you're just complaining because it's too hard, you seem very soft. Football? If a football player came up to you and said, it's too hard. He's being too physical with us. He's yelling. Like, if one of your NFL players said that to you, right? You'll be like, I am done.
And that's another thing. It's Eric Bieniemy who kind of has a good resume. It's not like this is a new coach in the league or it's coming from college or coming from somewhere else. This is a guy, like he said, he's been to consecutive AFC Championship, Super Bowls. He's coached Pat Mahomes. He's proven that he knows what he's doing. Like, that's one thing to say, this guy doesn't know he's outclassed. This is a guy that's definitely in his class that seems to be changing some culture things, and maybe they just don't like the change, because to say it's too hard, it hurts. I don't know.
Here. Contrary to popular belief, you don't get paid to play football. You get paid to win football.
Well,
and there are going to be changes if you ain't winning.
Yeah.
Right? And that's for the head coach. That's for the offense coordinators. That's for whatever. They weren't very good offensively last year. So just out of curiosity, I asked the players, do you think that we're going to get better if we do the same thing we did last year? No. That's why the past offensive coordinator is not here anymore. We got to make changes to get better. And this is where you find out who's ready to make those changes. Because they talk about Ron Rivera and what some of the things that he said, and, he read a thing, so it didn't seem really sincere or anything like that. But I tell you what, if I'm a fan or if I'm a teammate, I want to know what player was complaining.
Yeah.
Because that'll get that straightened out real quick. Who was complaining? Who had a problem with Eric Bieniemy being loud? Right? Because the guys that want to win don't have a problem. They realize they got to make some adjustments. So, I would say once they find out who was complaining, they might give that guy a ticket out of there.
Oh, I was going to say, it's going to get a little more physical, a little too much for him.
Well, I'm just saying, sometimes when you make changes, what is the first thing? Like, even when the coach came and took over for at Miami, first thing he did, there's some guys that ain't buying in. We got to get different guys. Because that's the start. That's the starting point. Before you know what kind of talent you have, before you know what kind of system you have, first you got to know who's on board and who's not. Because if you're trying to coach a guy that ain't on board, it ain't going to end well. So you need to identify that first. Who wants to be here? If you don't want to be here, we get you out of here. So look at all them kids that transferred. Look at all the guys that he got from transfer portal. You see what I'm saying? It happens everywhere.
Yeah, Deion Sanders.
But you can't be the guy complaining after winning nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Complaining about things being too tough. So I'd like to know who that is.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like he's going to be the favorite in the locker room. Let's do some headlines real quick. They're brought to you by the new Palmetto Ford Truck Super Center. Why buy your truck at a car store?
Palmetto Ford, we know trucks. Hello, Jennifer. You're mighty quiet today.
Hello,
Welcome.
Leroy.
How we doing on Swifty Alert?
So, there is 15,000 people ahead of me.
Oh, easy. You got that.
How many seats are available?
I don't know.
Well,
how much are there in the Hard Rock Stadium?
Oh, you can get
I'd say
probably 30.
No, they're going to put her in the round, so I would say 70, 75.
Ooh, 70
capacity.
Oh, you feeling good?
Because they put her,
65,000.
They put her in the center.
Okay,
and
so I feel better. Thank you.
Nice.
Put her in the center, so you got a shot. I mean,
I have a shot.
She's been selling out though, real quick.
15,000 though?
Yeah.
You should be good.
I hope so.
How
yes.
many tickets can you buy?
I don't remember, but it's going to be 3 of us right now, so we're okay.
So you're gonna have to buy. Well, can you buy 3? Yeah, you can buy 3.
I think the max might be like 4 or 6.
I was saying you'd have to buy even numbers though.
So of the 15,000 people, you know everybody just gonna get 6 tickets.
Damn.
Why not?
But you don't know what type of waiting pool she's in. She might be in a 35,000 person waiting pool, and then it kind of gets a little.
Ooh, what kind of pool is she in?
Please stop talking.
Good information.
JFig, we trying to help you out. We trying to get your mind right for what
Gotta
is
get in
inevitably
there.
gonna
My
happen.
mind has not been right for a very long time. So
Lock in.
Have you
So
seen?
can I ask you a question? Have you ever gotten to a waiting list and not gotten tickets?
yeah,
Yeah.
Every
What
concert.
here.
Woohoo!
Taylor.
Oh,
So
I thought you went.
We did. Randomly, they sent us a link months later after they were sold out.
Oh.
So you didn't get enough of Taylor Swift earlier this year. You want more?
Absolutely not. I want Taylor
No.
Swift.
Did you
next
go to
year.
Tampa? You went and saw her in Tampa? Where'd you see her at?
Yeah, I saw her at Tampa.
Okay, yeah. I was talking to some guy about
I
you.
gotta tell you, this is about as giddy as I've seen JFig since I've known her.
I
Right?
get like
She
this for
is so
concerts.
excited
I'm
about
so sorry.
She is so excited. She's like sending us updates.
If
She's
I
sending
can
us
lose myself
progress
for
reports.
3 hours,
So are you coming to see
with
Pierce
music.
the Veil on Sunday? You driving into town for that?
you bet I am.
What time is it at?
1.
I need to know. 1 o'clock? Oh, I'll be working on the air, but yeah, I might try to sneak down for a little bit. Well, that's a free concert for you, Figgy. So that'll kind of save a little bit after you buy these T Sweezy tickets.
I'm also excited for Riptide.
Riptide, we don't know who's going to be there yet, but it's coming
I'm
in
excited.
December, early December. Yeah, it's always a great lineup.
Me, I'm gonna be there.
I'll be there for sure.
I hope they got those noodles
No.
again.
You gonna try to play some games?
Yeah, I'll see if I can run a couple game shows. They would be blessed to have me.
That would
grace
be
the
pretty
stage.
funny. I'm not gonna
I'm
lie.
telling you what, that would be lit.
You know
I'll get the
what?
place
Go
lit.
pitch it.
I'm gonna pitch it.
Do it.
Who doesn't like games, dude? Everyone like
Who doesn't like games? How about this? Next segment, we play a game. Marlins trivia for your chance to win Leroy's tickets to this weekend's Marlins Yankees game.
Wow.
Games. Let's do it next. Let's do it next here on Tobin and Leroy.
WQAM.
Questions. Lots of questions actually here in South Florida. Like, how much is Tua going to play Friday when the Dolphins and the Falcons take each other on in Hard Rock Stadium at 7
I think he's going to
o'clock?
play first snap to last snap, every play.
Will Messi score 2 goals in every single Inter-Miami match from now until his contract runs up in 2025?
Also, yes.
Will the Marlins make the playoffs?
Not only will they make the playoffs, they'll finish with the best record in the league.
Wow, what a win streak that would be.
A win streak,
They would have to
dude.
win. I don't even know if they won every game for the rest of the year. That would happen.
Yeah, well, some games count for 2 towards October. I think I heard something like that. The hunt for October, because games count for 2.
2 more questions. We were wondering where Leroy Hoard is, but Leroy Hoard is back with us. And speaking of having questions,
You know how when you have to tell somebody what something's wrong with my blower for my thing, he said, go tell me how much horsepower it is or whatever. You know, what
nobody knows how
size
much
it is.
horsepower their blower has.
And it's all blown, it's all washed off. So I don't know.
All right. So what did you tell him?
I'm gonna send him a picture. Figure it out. Pool
Okay.
guy.
Speaking of questions, though, Marcos, you've got questions.
I do indeed. So I'm going to go ahead and explain the rules, give you time to call in. Callers, call in right now for an opportunity to win. We got one more family 4-pack of Marlins tickets to give away today, courtesy of our boy Leroy Hoard, who was kind enough to provide these tickets. This is an opportunity to watch the game this Friday with us. Standing room only. You know, we're going to be vibing at the Budweiser bar that's there. We're going to have some drinks. Maybe you can come enjoy the game with us. And the Yankees, you know, even though they haven't had what's known as a typical Yankee season, they definitely are someone that draws a crowd. In addition to that, we're going to be honoring the 2003 Marlins team. Got a lot happening this Friday. So got a few callers lining things up just to explain the rules. When I get you on the air, I need you to give me a Leroy. Any failure to do this will result in termination. Depending on how many callers we get.
So intense.
Termination.
Yeah,
Terminated. You sound like, oh, sorry, you have been erased.
You'll be eliminated, dude. You'll be eliminated. You may be fired from your job, too. You never know.
Not terminated completely, though.
Yes.
Killed?
So I'm going to go ahead and open this up to line 2. I don't know who you are, so I can't give you, or I can't tell everybody your lovely, lovely name. Why don't you provide us with your name and the magic word? Line 2, you're on air.
Leroy.
Wow.
I like that one.
Added a little bit of sauce in that. Caller, what is your name?
Juan.
I don't know.
W-A-N.
W.
Juan.
Not even going to try that again.
Juan.
J-U-A-N. Juan.
Juan it is. Now, Juan, we have a Marlins question for you for an opportunity to win these tickets. Make this a little bit harder than the other one was. Giancarlo Stanton holds a record for the most home runs in a Marlins season. How many home runs in that season did he hit?
55.
And the correct answer is 59, Juan. I'm sorry, Juan. I apologize. It was a good
and also he broke his face. He didn't even get
did
to
break
finish.
his face.
Right.
That was
Got hit in the face.
and then he came back with that helmet that kind of like wrapped around the front. That was kind of cool. Let's go ahead and go to caller number 1. Caller number 1, you are on air. What is the magic word?
Hello?
Caller?
Hello? Hello?
Caller, you're on air. What's the magic word? Yeah. All right. I'm liking this. Now, again, we're honoring the 2003 Marlins. So a lot of these questions will involve these players.
Except for the first one.
Except for the first one, because
you've been in the league that long.
It's not been in the league since 2003. The career leader for the Marlins in batting average at a whopping 313. Who is the player with the highest batting average in Marlins history?
Oof. I have a guess, but I don't know.
Quick guess will probably be Miguel Cabrera.
Well, I understand why that'd be a guess of yours. He is a very good hitter, Triple Crown winner, and the correct answer! So you got the correct answer. You do have a few people coming for your crown, so we're going to place you on hold. I don't even think I asked your name. Caller, what is your name?
Alex.
Alex.
We're going to go ahead and put you on hold, see if anybody can come for your crown, all righty?
Awesome. Thank you.
What if he said no? No, man. I'm good. I got things to do.
Caller, you are on the air. What is the magic word?
Leroy.
Yeah. I like that. Now, this question, also not honoring the 2003 Marlins team, just the Marlins in general. Leroy mentioned that Giancarlo Stanton took a unfortunate ball to the face that fractured some bones in his face. The overall leader for being hit by a pitch while wearing a Marlins uniform, Derek Dietrich. How many pitches was he hit by during his tenure with the Marlins?
Ooh, that's good.
That's a rough question, right?
Wait,
all right. Because it was such a rough question, I will give you a hint. It also happens to be this is a good hint. The year the Marlins were founded. How many pitches was the all-time leader?
It's like you want to keep the tickets.
I don't know about the year that it was founded. That's no. You mean like the last two digits or the whole?
Yeah,
four
last
digits?
two digits.
Okay, last two digits.
Have you was hit by that many pitches?
Yeah, have you hit by 19?
Did you ever bat?
Yes. So, caller, I apologize for wasting your time. Hopefully, you've been Googling like a smart man. What? Again, the name is Derek Dietrich. Leads the Marlins in being hit by a pitch. How many times was he hit by a pitch?
21.
They weren't founded in 1921.
The correct answer is 93.
He gave you a hint.
I tried. I tried.
Whatever happened to the question of like who leads the team in batting average this year?
Yeah,
Something like that.
No,
like,
who leads him in being hit by a pitch?
They cut the grass once a day at least. How many times have they cut it more than once a day in the whole illustrious history of the Miami Marlins?
What is the name of the person who cuts the grass?
Well,
all right, we
that.
got one more. We got one more.
Who leads the team in batting averages?
Caller, you are.
Who's the manager?
You are on the air, caller. What is the magic word?
Leroy.
I like it. I like it. Now we'll make this easy. What is Billy the Marlin's first? No, I'm kidding. What is Luis Arraez's current batting average? Don't Google it. Quick. Current batting average. I'm giving 3 more seconds, and he's done. Dan Day, do you know his current batting average?
I'm gonna guess it's 374.
Close, 370.
Oh,
that was really good.
He went 0 for 4 last night. That's why I was trying to go a little lower.
That's fair. All right, let's get Alex back on the line.
What does he have to do? Answer.
Alex, are you there?
I'm here.
Who was my 3rd grade teacher? If you really. All right, Alex, congratulations, man. You have won the tickets.
Dude,
what?
Let's tell you.
What, Miss
It's
Sandy?
like
what
I gave you the tickets. I
waistline?
gave you the tickets
Yeah.
to give to get to our beautiful followers and guests and all this stuff.
Yep.
And you like made it so hard for them to win them. Like, what you got a side job, side gig? or something?
No, what do you mean? Alex,
I mean, questions. Who knows somebody's batting average?
Come on. It's
How
his
many-
current batting average.
How many inches is Max Meyer's waistline? Go.
What?
He seems more like a 36. I think.
And caller, I'm not gonna say nothing, but Alex, he gave you a hint.
No, that was the other guy. Yeah.
Oh, that was the other guy.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't me. That wasn't me.
Yeah. Alex
Okay, no. That was Juan.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Juan.
It was. I don't even think I asked his name. I think the fact that
that you gave him a hint and he didn't get it. So he got 2 questions wrong. He didn't know the starting year of the Marlins.
Yep.
And he didn't know how many because
he
they're
didn't
both
deserve
the
the
same.
tickets. Alex did.
Alex did.
Thank you for playing. I'm gonna go ahead and put you on hold. I'll get your information on the break. And let me get one more Leroy on the way out. Oh, look at that. This guy deserves a ticket.
Hey,
Right,
JFig, he had to put his hand to his ear for that one.
I think so. I felt it.
Friday at the Marlins game, pay attention to every little detail because you never know when it's going to be asked as a trivia question.
But imagine though, 93. He was hit by 93 pitches. That is
Dude,
not.
but think about it. If he played 15 years,
Yeah,
that's only like 6 times a year.
that's more pitches than I want.
At 600 at bats, 600 at bats. That's not that much.
The record for being hit the most times in one season is 55.
What?
Yeah.
Who was that, Barry Bonds or something?
Learned that in trivia the other night.
Who was it?
Because it was an old school player. Like back.
Oh, I know who it was.
Oyster Bird! Oyster Birds! And so I was waiting in line yesterday to try to win that $1.5 billion, right?
Someone in Weston won it.
No. In Neptune Beach.
All right.
What the hell are you talking about?
No, they said
I was waiting in, like, the line was long, so there was a cereal line, and what is it? Oyster? It wasn't oyster, it was oster or something. And I kept saying to myself, Oyster Birds, while I'm waiting in line. Everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy.
What are you saying, sir?
Yes.
Up next, going to close things out here on the Tobin and Leroy show.
1, 2, 3, time to get into hocking.
Quick, Fig. How many kilograms of popcorn have they sown at Lone Depot Park this Marlins season?
Oh, I know that one. I know that one.
In kilograms, remember, not pounds.
Oh. 12.
I don't know, Daniel.
I don't even know how much a kilogram is, actually, to be honest.
Oh,
how
man.
much is a kilogram?
Do you want Leroy's tickets or not? I don't know.
I had to keep them for myself, Dan. A kilogram is 2.20 pounds. Therefore, kilograms, you are dead to me. I would never use you ever because you're 2 point something instead of like being normal.
Ooh, the Marlins are actually underway in Cincinnati. It is
nice.
0-0 in the middle of the third.
Oh, we got a barn burner.
Let's see. I was going to see if Luis Arias has raised his average yet.
Oh, if so, I got to call that person
Yes,
back.
not it's worse. Jorge Soler is hotter than a fox in a forest fire. He's 2 for 1 today after going 3 for 3 yesterday and hitting the go.
What?
Run.
Fox in a forest.
Hotter than a fox in a forest fire.
Yeah.
You know, those foxes can sense that fire and they get the hell up out of there.
Oh, well, then, that's why if it gets stuck in there, it's got to be really hot, man.
No, I don't want to think about that. He has been hot, though. You are correct.
He has been hot. Jorge Soler.
He basically won the game for him last night.
They were dead in the water yesterday.
Yeah, nobody couldn't do nothing.
Nobody did nothing.
That's right. Let's go with what we need to turn it around. You heard it here first. I predicted the Marlins will win every game until the end of the season.
Yeah, you said they're going to finish with the league's best record.
Correct. Yes.
Best record.
Being that they're 20-something games behind that.
Yes. It's going to be a crazy turn of
Right
events.
now, the team with the best record, I'm guessing, is it the Braves? No,
They got
wait.
80 wins.
Maybe it's the Orioles.
The Orioles 70 and 43. No, 70. Well, 71 and 40. So the better win record is the Braves 71 and 40.
Yeah. Well,
We're at 59 and 56. So
Here
we
we
have to
go.
win.
we got them right where we want them, baby.
Well, it's technically possible.
Yeah. And look, in October, like I said, games count for 2. So there you go. The hunt for October.
We got Yuri Perez back. Oh, what else?
Oh, yeah. That's been working.
It only worked one game, but yeah.
Yeah,
Jazz Chisholm. Also, we'd also expect the Braves to have to fall apart too and lose a lot of games if we're going to catch them.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's part of the plan.
And the
And
Orioles.
you're down for that, I'm sure. So is Leroy.
Oh, well, yeah,
To
always.
see Atlanta suffer.
Orioles, they've got 70 wins. The Rangers, who swept us, they got 68.
Hey, Dan Day, they got 70 wins and they just suspended their announcer for saying how terrible they were in
Against the Rays.
against the Rays.
And then they ended up winning that series. All he was
Yeah.
doing was reciting the facts.
They won that game.
Did you hear that the fans were chanting for him to come back to his job in Camden Yards the other day?
Nice.
Bad look.
Well,
for the Orioles.
he's going to be back Friday.
Oh, yeah. I haven't heard anything from the Orioles. Like, I forgot that they were still-
Sorry, our bad.
They said no. They said he was just taking a break, just on a break.
This sucks, though.
Well, they also said that the owner got mad and wanted him out of there.
I don't understand when the guy announcing facts.
He didn't do nothing. He didn't do anything.
Not in a malicious tone.
We do that all the time when the Heat play like Orlando, and we go, I'm telling you what, the Heat do not play well against these lower end teams.
Right. I mean, are
That's
the
all he
Marlins mad
said.
at me earlier today when I said they ended a 5-game losing streak? It's like, whoa, what are you doing? What up? What's going on?
Incoming.
Or it's like, for example, when we talk about how the Heat never win in Denver.
Yeah,
because it's usually the last game of the series and the thin air and all those things. We've said this for years, right? But like, what are we doing? That's a fact. He was stating facts. He wasn't like being,
Yeah, he
you
wasn't
know,
malicious.
he wasn't being malicious. He wasn't showing any anger towards it. He was just basically stating the facts while saying, but they're in first place.
And also, by the way, I hope we win this series so we can start turning it around.
Right. Exactly.
Figgy, where are we at in the pool for Taylor Swift tickets at Hard Rock Stadium?
Yes,
Are
have
you
you moved up?
Let me tell you, I am stressed out. We're
no.
here looking at the tickets, and every single time we try to grab a pair of tickets, it
Yes.
says error, and then now it's showing that there's no seats available. How is that possible?
But I thought you were in the line.
We were.
Someone skipped
You might want to try another computer because this past weekend I tried to book a reservation at Calle Dragones and it wouldn't let me here in the studio. So I went to another computer and it let me book it. So maybe that's your problem. Not to compare Calle Dragones to a Taylor Swift
Swift.
concert.
No,
Two
you
very-
really can't.
Well, you are Cuban.
And then every
Maybe
single
so.
time you kind of like refresh the page in a sense, it shows a different section highlighted, but then the second you press a C, it goes away again.
Are you using multiple
devices?
Do you have your dad and your mom and maybe your cousin
Yes,
Anna
for sure.
possibly
No,
also
my
trying to help you?
my friend is the one looking.
I need
Okay.
you to stand on your roof.
You do have to do some dancing.
Point your phone north and look at the North Star with your left eye, and you'll be able to get it.
What about this? Since Leroy's been so generous with his Marlins Yankees tickets,
Oh,
why not try
yeah.
to grab the old running back Taylor Swift ticket so he can go with you guys, our ladies?
Yeah, for sure.
Really?
Leroy, you
dance.
like Taylor Swift, right?
Leroy's a Swift.
Yeah, I'm not a concert guy.
Okay.
Leroy doesn't even want to go to Paris.
Paris is
Going to-
nice.
They're going in March.
Oh, it's very nice in March.
10 days. Well, they have to go in March. They wanted to go in the summer,
Isn't everything
but
nice?
the Olympics are going to be there.
You don't want to do that. You don't
Right.
get the true experience. It's like going to New Orleans during Mardi Gras. You really don't get the real experience of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? It's still
You
good
need-
food,
most
alcohol?
people really want that Eli Apple experience.
Yeah, the smelly city, with bad food, and
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Maybe that's the only time Eli Apple left his apartment was during Mardi Gras. That's why he's like,
Yeah.
smelly city, the food sucked, it's expensive, the people were rude, they were drunk all the time. It's like, okay.
You know what that sounds like? Tuesday.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. in the
Dude,
morning.
they only close the French Quarter from like 7 to 8 in the morning so they can get the street sweepers through there.
Yeah, they clean up a little bit, and then or they make you stay inside the bar. That's what they used to make
Yeah.
it so like, hey, stay inside the bar. We're sweeping the streets, and then just
Don't
back up.
threaten Dan with a good time.
Yeah, I gotta stay in this
Stay
bar.
inside. Oh, man.
Oh man, please. So Figgy, keep us updated if you get those Taylor Swift tickets.
She will. We've been getting the play-by-play.
If that were possible, yeah.
I'll be at the after party or the pre-party, but I probably won't make it to the concert.
Here's another thing, though. Didn't you say they sent you an email last time, like months later? This concert is until like October 2024. You don't think another
I know,
month-
but you never know if that's gonna happen again. It possibly will, but I don't know. It's not possibly likely.
Do
Also,
they even give you prices? What are the prices?
It's just you sign over your life.
Oh, okay.
The prices are ridiculous.
so the nosebleeds are 109.
Okay,
That's not bad.
Not
I
actually.
hate to say it, it's not bad.
It's not bad.
No, it's not. I think it's good.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
So they're gonna get 65,000 in there.
Yeah.
65,000.
So
You
Channing
say
Tatum,
the average tickets is like 300 a ticket.
Is Taylor Swift the hottest artist in the world? For example, if her concert tickets
gonna go
go
ahead
on
and say
sale,
yes.
is she above Beyonce? Is she above Bad Bunny? Is she above, I don't know, Lady Gaga? Whoever the hell else?
Well,
Adele?
have you heard anyone actually raving about Beyonce? And before anyone says anything, I do enjoy Beyonce and I have gone to her concerts. But have you actually heard anything
Although-
of her recent concert?
No, definitely. Wait, does she have a
Except the
concert?
one where
She's
she
on
paid,
tour right now. She's on
She's
tour.
she took one. She took one for the team and paid to keep transit open.
Correct.
there was
Yeah,
a
I
delay.
said it on
Right.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Or Monday.
what about Bad Bunny though? You don't think Bad Bunny goes like I don't think it's like this crazy though. I think Taylor Swift is probably the top of the list. I think Bad Bunny too.
largest grossing tour in the world last year, Bad
You
Bunny.
probably just named top
But there
five.
was no Taylor Swift tour. So, speaking of music, though, tomorrow,
This will be the biggest tour. It used to be, you know, who used to do this? Madonna. Madonna used to have tours and they were just ridiculous.
Overrated.
Madonna?
Yep.
man, like a virgin.
Yeah, it's a one song everybody knows.
Oh,
Really?
Vogue,
Nah,
Holiday.
that's a good song. that's a good.
Speaking of music, Tobin will be back tomorrow, and maybe a new song. He'll have a new song that he may be in the lab and may not. be in the lab.
Have you heard any news?
I don't know
What's going on?
anything. There's just word on the street that there could be new tunes.
So you have heard something, liar.
I've heard whispers. I haven't heard music. I haven't heard anything. You have to
Wow,
tune in tomorrow.
JFig. Hey, don't let these Taylor
I'm
Swift
sorry,
tickets-
okay? I'm
Taylor Taylor Swift got JFig on edge. She say, "Well, you did, liar." I'm like, "Wow."
Ticketmaster, you liar. You liar.
Oh man, Hawk and Crowder is next. Tobin and Leroy show is back tomorrow at 10 a.m. here on 560 WQAM.
Around 7